Chapter 1454. Fang Ping did not mind giving the system to old Zhang. Right now, he did not use the system much. It was more effective for old Zhang and the rest. As for old Zhang's arrogance, Fang Ping could not be bothered. You'll have to surpass me first. I'll go around Earth and integrate some cities. Fang Ping did not waste time. Right now, he still needed to improve his strength. His combat strength was less than 100 million. It was enough to deal with North Emperor and Beast Emperor, but it was not enough to deal with Emperor and Earthly Emperor. Old Zhang waved his hand casually. Right now, he was anxious to study the system and convert. He had no time to deal with Fang Ping. Fang Ping went around Earth again to show off his prowess. Integrating the cities, strengthening the residents in the cities, reciprocating each other, strengthening each other. For the current Fang Ping, even without the system, the reciprocating force was nothing. Without the system, Fang Ping felt slightly awkward, but he was more relaxed. Even though he knew that Heavenly Emperor Zhan was dead, Fang Ping still felt awkward. It was fine if the system did not have a master. With a master, he always felt like he was being controlled. It was fine now. Moreover, with his strength, he could sense his own strength clearly. Without the system, he could still sense the changes in his strength. The source world was 9,999 meters. After Fang Ping integrated 7 to 8 cities, it was still 9,999 meters. There were no changes. Obviously, this checkpoint required more strength to break through. Fang Ping was becoming stronger. Zhang Tao was becoming stronger. Everyone on Earth was becoming stronger. This stage was also the easiest to improve. The direction of the origin path was clear. As long as there was enough strength, they could keep moving forward. The power of the origin was getting easier and easier to comprehend. They were all becoming stronger. Fang Ping suddenly realized that the cat seemed to have changed. After integrating more than 20 cities, Fang Ping could not help but look at the cat on his shoulder. This cat's previously fiery red first seemed to be glowing now. Fang Ping's expression changed slightly. "Big cat, what's wrong?" The cat yawned as if it wanted to sleep. Hearing Fang Ping's question, it opened its eyes and yawned. The trash can is producing trash again. Many people have become stronger. Fang Ping's expression changed again. That black swamp has become bigger. The ash cat was born from the source star. It was a product of the source star, an unexpected product. It collected some of the filth and negative emotions of the source Tao. Every time a great battle broke out, the experts of the Tao of Origin would be filled with negative emotions, causing the azure cat to fall into a deep slumber. As the number of Tao of Origin experts increased, it would be affected as well, collect more negative emotions. Of course, the source ground was still there, and the celestial arch and the others were still suppressing it. This cat was not at the source ground, so it was less affected, but it was still somewhat affected. Fang Ping frowned. "Has it grown bigger?" "A little, I guess." The cat was a little dispirited. That black quagmire seemed to have become bigger. When Dong Huang said that he needed someone to suppress the black mire, it was not without reason. The ash cat was strong enough to suppress it, but as the origin source Tao produced more and more trash, the ash cat still needed someone to help suppress it. The ash cat could suppress it now, but it might not be able to do so in the future. "Quagmire," Fang Ping murmured. This quagmire was a hidden danger. If he did not resolve this quagmire, sooner or later, Tsang Mao's cat world would be covered by darkness. There was no such thing as a mental demon in the 3 realms. There was also no such thing as a true demon path. This was because most of the negative emotions entered the source ground through the origin source Tao. From the source ground, they entered Tsang Mao's cat world to cover and Tsang Mao to suppress them. This quagmire is actually similar to the Taoist rift produced by the 9 emperors. No, it's even more serious than this rift. The rift needs strength to suppress or fill it with energy. I'm afraid Tsang Mao's black quagmire is not just a matter of energy filling. Tsang Mao's black quagmire might need more things to be repaired. Fang Ping thought to himself. Tsang Mao muttered, "Liar, don't worry about this. If it doesn't work, I'll look for celestial arch in the end. I'll be a permanent Tsang Mao trash can and stay in the source ground. He'll help me suppress it." Celestial Arch wanted to restore the source ground. After it was restored, there were still some flaws in the source ground. Celestial Arch would send these flaws into Tsang Mao's body. When the time came, he would naturally help Tsang Mao solve this problem. How to solve it? Suppress it forever. Fang Ping could imagine this outcome. His expression was uncertain. He looked at Tsang Mao and said in a low voice, "Are you willing to be suppressed in the source ground forever?" Tsang Mao said lazily, "As long as there's food." Fang Ping snorted. Who did not yearn for freedom? Who would want to be suppressed in a place for all eternity? Tsang Mao was immortal. As long as the source ground was not destroyed, it would not die. As long as the source ground existed, it might be suppressed and become a fixed garbage collection station. Was this the outcome that Tsang Mao wanted? If it did not care, why did it make the cat world sunny and beautiful? Why did it keep that black quagmire far away and never go near it? Cats also yearn for sunshine and beauty. Moreover, the source ground was not a good place. Fang Ping fell into deep thought. If the source ground was destroyed, Tsang Mao might also die. It was too deeply involved with the source ground. Not only Tsang Mao. If the source ground was destroyed, those emperors would also die. The origin path would also be completely destroyed. Who knew how many people would die from the backlash of the broken path? Destroying the source will cause countless people to die. As long as the source is not destroyed, emperors will not die. Celestial Arch will not be able to destroy. So the best way is to repair the source ground. Fang Ping felt a little helpless. In the end, the best way was to repair the source ground. Of course, it was not to seal it like Celestial Arch, but to repair the current flaws of the source ground, so that the source ground would not have its power exhausted, and the origin path would not be suppressed again. The seed. In the end, the seed seemed to be the only way out. However, the seed had intelligence and wanted to destroy martial arts. The source ground, the seed, at this moment, Fang Ping began to hesitate. Should he look for the seed first, or go to the source ground again? Going to the source ground was mainly to destroy the vitality seed, lest the vitality seed matured and was used by others. Then many martial artists of the vitality path would die. Looking for the seed was to obtain some true blood or to talk to the seed. Even if there was no way to talk, it was necessary to know oneself and the enemy. Whose vitality seed does it belong to? Fang Ping pondered in his heart. It was not the emperors. This was for sure. It's not the emperors. It's not the North Emperor and the Beast Emperors. The reason why Fang Ping was sure of this was that these two were not as strong as the emperor. That day, the owner of the vitality seed fought with the emperor. They were both projections, and the emperor even used his own fingers. In the end, they only perished together. Obviously, that person's strength might be slightly stronger than the emperor. It's only those few fellows. But I'm afraid those few fellows can't escape with just the vitality seed, right? Could it be that they want to kill a few emperors to make up the numbers? Do Qiang, how hung? The vitality seed could only belong to these 4 people, unless the emperor himself put on a show. But the possibility was not high. There was no need for the emperor to put on such a show. If he really wanted to put on a show, the best choice that day was actually to kill Fang Ping, the insider. The seeds could only belong to these 4 fellows, And these fellows still did not know what had happened that day. They only knew that Fong Ping had gone there and obtained the true blood because the emperor's clone and that fellow's clone had perished together. Is the energy seed made by Emperor Heaven Reverse? If it's not him, then it's the earthly sovereign. It feels like it's to help Hongkuan. These two fellows don't seem to be counting on this to escape at all. Then why did they make this seed? Fong Ping fell into deep thought. The energy seed did not show any effect at all. Emperor Heaven Reverse. And the earthly sovereign did not do anything that day. The earthly sovereign was still okay, but if it was Emperor Heaven Reverse, this guy actually did not have any reaction that day. Hongkuan becoming an emperor does not benefit Emperor Heaven Reverse at all. Other than increasing the source ground's burden, Fong Ping was slightly stunned. Increasing the source ground's burden for seeds, splitting the immortal source. Hongkuan proved his Tao with the seed. The source ground will be more and more overwhelmed. Fong Ping took a breath. Did Emperor Heaven Reverse do it on purpose? He made a seed on purpose, on one hand, to make the immortal source power depleted, on the other hand, to help Hongkuan prove his Tao, making the source ground's burden heavier. This is not good for him, but for the owner of the source ground, Celestial Emperor, it will increase the burden. He wants to fight against Celestial Emperor. Fong Ping was not surprised. Among the 9 emperors, the Divine Emperor and Emperor Heaven Reverse knew that Celestial Emperor might want to kill them, so they started fighting against Celestial Emperor 10,000 years ago. It was not impossible to drag Celestial Emperor down. But aren't these fellows afraid that Celestial Emperor and the source ground will be overwhelmed and really collapse? Fong Ping muttered to himself. Unless these fellows knew that Celestial Emperor was very powerful and could not crush him, they would not care. Would Celestial Emperor be crushed? No way. Fong Ping now suspected that Celestial Emperor did not suppress the source ground crack at all, but the seed did. Do they know? Fong Ping guessed in his heart. Soon, he shook his head slightly and stopped thinking about it. Whether they knew or not, these fellows did not dare to look for Celestial Emperor now. If he went to the source ground again, the owner of the vitality seed should be more vigilant. He might find out that he went to the source ground. Thinking of this, Fong Ping turned his head and looked at the dozing cat. This cat was getting lazier and lazier. Maybe it was really hit by the quagmire recently. Big cat, meow. The cat was half awake, opening its eyes to look at Fong Ping. Fong Ping hesitated for a while before saying, "There's a problem with your source world. The problem is too serious. I think if there's no way to solve it completely, it's better to be more straightforward." Fong Ping paused for a moment before continuing, "Destroy this. After it's destroyed, the filth of the cat world will return to the source ground, causing the source ground to be impacted. But I'm worried that once the cat world is destroyed, you might die." The destruction of the source world was more serious than cutting off the Tao. There were almost no cases of survival. The cat blinked and looked at him, muttering, "If I die, will I not be able to eat anything good?" Fong Ping said calmly, "Don't think about eating. If you don't want to die, why don't you return to the source ground and be a garbage dump? Or what?" The cat stared at him, waiting for him to continue. "Think of a way to divert and cut it." Fong Ping said in a low voice, "Can the source world be cut?" "I don't know. Maybe I can help you cut off a part of it, cut off the filth area, which is the black quagmire, and then send it back to the source ground. As for the consequences after sending it back, it's none of our business." "Cut." The cat's eyes widened. "Do a surgery? I don't want to." This was a major surgery. Cutting off the source world was more serious than a normal person cutting off their brain. It would hurt the cat to death. Fong Ping ignored it and said, "I'm afraid cutting it won't be that simple. Once it collapses, you'll still die." Fang Ping actually had a headache. This problem was very difficult to solve. The hidden dangers of the source existed even if there were no martial artists. The cat was born too early. It was not born later. Unless the source was destroyed, only then would it disappear. However, if the source was destroyed, the cat would die. The cat was also very desperate. It said pitifully, "Then forget it. If I don't die, I'll be a garbage can. Maybe I can eat something. If I die, I won't have anything to eat." Fang Ping was slightly shocked. He did not say anything. Perhaps the old cat was right. He did things with consideration. If you don't let me live, I won't let you live. At most, we'll die together. However, the cat might only have this little hobby. If it went to the source ground and became a garbage can, it might still be able to eat something. Loneliness, darkness, solitude, maybe it could bear it. However, Fang Ping sighed in his heart. How many years would it take to suppress it? As long as the source ground was not destroyed, it still needed to be suppressed. Could the cat really bear it? Maybe it would be easier then. Just like now, it could also come out source ground. In a dark place, Qin Fengqing carried his saber and said impatiently, "Why are you calling me?" Not far away, the emperor was floating in the air. He smiled and said softly, "The immortal source is about to mature. Once it matures, it will be the day when the powerhouses of the origin path are destroyed. It will also be the time when the celestial emperor is free." So what? Qin Fengqing did not care. What did it have to do with him? "The seed doesn't seem to want us to do anything," the emperor murmured. "Logically speaking, we should be stopping all of this now. We can't let the immortal source mature. Otherwise, the human race will be extinct and the seed will be in trouble." Qin Fengqing raised his eyebrows. On the seed side, even if the human race suffers heavy losses, it won't be too serious if its intelligence is affected. But the celestial emperor clearly wants to destroy the human race and use it to fill the hole. The emperor's eyes flickered. If that's the case, how can the seed let the celestial emperor out? Yes, what's wrong? Qin Fengqing asked curiously. "Are we stopping it?" "We are stopping it. Fang Ping and the others are also stopping it." "Not that." The emperor shook his head. "The seed has been entangled with the sun god for so many years, but it rarely cares about the celestial emperor. Didn't they say that the sun god and the seed are entangled?" Qin Fengqing was surprised. "The sun god has been chasing after the seed, and the seed has no choice but to entangle with him." "You don't understand the sun god," the emperor chuckled. "The sun god is very afraid of trouble. In the early stages, he was chasing after the seed, wanting to obtain stronger power. Later, he absorbed the power of the source land and was already extremely strong. At this time, he was actually too lazy to chase after it. It's the seed that has been staying in the human world." Qin Fengqing blinked. "Staying in the human world? Isn't the seed in the human world? Then where did the source come from? How did the arcane realm come from?" The emperor's eyes flickered. "It doesn't have to stay in the human world. It's just that it has been staying in the human world all these years." Qin Fengqing frowned. "You mean the seed doesn't seem to be in too much of a hurry, letting the celestial emperor create the immortal source and waiting for it to mature? It can't stop it, right?" "Yes," the emperor laughed. "You're still young. Of course you don't understand. If it really wanted to stop it, there was actually a way. For example, when there was no energy in the human world, the seed no longer emitted energy, and the emperor's sword absorbed all the energy. At this time, the human race still existed, but martial arts would not flourish. As long as it emitted a little energy, it would be enough to maintain the human race. But the energy emitted by the seed could allow some people to continue practicing martial arts, to inherit martial arts, and not completely destroy martial arts." Qin Fengqing raised his eyebrows and looked at him, not knowing what he was thinking. The emperor said faintly, "What is the seed waiting for? Is it waiting for the celestial emperor to destroy martial arts? But if it's not careful, it will also become a perpetual motion machine." Qin Fengqing licked his lips and laughed. "Who cares what it's doing? It's better that it doesn't let us make a move. I've just achieved Tao. I'm no match for the Emperor God and the Celestial Emperor. You don't understand." The emperor saw Qin Fengqing's indifferent expression as if he didn't understand. So be it. He couldn't help but laugh. It's not that the seed didn't do anything. It should have reached an agreement with Hao, and Hao might be its arrangement to stop the Celestial Emperor. Fang Ping and the others could grow to this stage because of their own reasons, and also because the emperors secretly let them go. Qin Fengqing nodded. He also suspected that Dong Huang was a partner of the seed. He looked at the emperor again. "Isn't that it? That's why Hao ordered Chu to kill Ash Cat back then. Probably to mess up the origin." "Yes, isn't this in line with the seed's purpose?" "But Ash Cat didn't die," Qin Fengqing said impatiently. "That's normal. Isn't there Celestial Emperor and Spirit Emperor protecting it?" However, this also caused the Celestial Emperor to be more guarded against Hao. Later, they might have found out that the person behind the scenes was Hao, so Hao and the Celestial Emperor seemed to have a deep relationship, but in fact, they had already fallen out. Qin Fengqing frowned. "You mean, if he's a partner of the seed, he should be more low-key? He's actually very low-key, right?" "It's not that. I want to say that Hao is a little strange, and so is the Celestial Emperor." The emperor said faintly, "They have fallen out, and they both know it. But most of the time, it doesn't feel like they've fallen out. It's more like acting." "Acting?" Qin Fengqing frowned and said in a low voice, "What do you mean?" "You're saying that Dongguan's heart is in Chao camp, and he didn't betray the Celestial Emperor at all, but he's just deliberately fooling the seed." "Kind of." The emperor laughed. "But the seed isn't a fool. On the contrary, it's very intelligent. How can Hao fool it so easily?" "I'm confused by what you're saying. What do you mean?" The emperor sighed. "I'm not afraid that Hao and the Celestial Emperor are acting. I'm afraid Hao, the Celestial Emperor, and the seed are acting together." "Huh." Qin Fengqing was stunned. "Then we are the real sacrificial pawns." The emperor said coldly, "Everyone knows that we're the seed's dogs. If they want to destroy the seed, then they have to destroy us. We're actually in a more dangerous situation than Fang Ping and the others. If we die, Fang Ping and the others die. The seed will be powerless to resist. Fang Ping and the others still need to wait for the immortal origin to mature before harvesting. But we actually don't need to wait." "You mean someone wants to do something to us?" Qin Fengqing frowned. "The Celestial Emperor and the others?" "Yes, even the Celestial Emperor. And how, in order to make this more realistic, we might have been abandoned." The emperor looked at Qin Fengqing and smiled. "Do you want to live?" "Of course. As long as you want to." The emperor's eyes were deep, looking into the endless darkness. After a while, he said, "If you want to live, then you have to fight. If you don't fight, how can you live? The situation today is more complicated than you can imagine. Some people pretend to be confused. Some people pretend to understand. Some people really don't understand. Some people actually know everything. The seed is not just the two of us. If that's the case, then I've underestimated the seed. If that's the case, it would have been swallowed by the sun god long ago. If you don't want to die, then you can't be a sacrificial pawn, but a key pawn. And now we have a competitor." Qin Fengqing's eyes flickered. "Dong Huang?" "Yes," the emperor said coldly. "Whether it's a real cooperation or not, he's a pawn of the seed. He's very important, at least more important than us. If we don't kill Hao, you and I are sacrificial pawns. The seed can abandon us at will. What do you want to do? Kill him? Qin Fengqing frowned. He's not that easy to kill. The emperor said that he's the strongest after the four of them. He's hard to kill, but it's not impossible. The emperor said coldly, Me, Zhen, Fang Ping. I'll think of a way to get Hong. We'll attack him together. How can he not die? Qin Fengqing frowned. But Dong Huang's existence actually reduces the pressure on the human race. Will Fang Ping agree to cooperate to kill Dong Huang? You're still not good enough, Jie Fang Ping. The emperor chuckled. Reduce pressure? In Fang Ping's eyes, we can all be killed. With one dead, there would be one less. With less scheming, there would be more peace. Dong Huang is so strong. Why would he trust him? Killing Hao might even help Zhen get out of trouble. He'll agree. The more people die, the fewer powerhouses there are, the simpler the situation is. There's no need to worry about betrayal, no need to worry about scheming. Do you think he'll agree? Qin Fengqing thought about it and agreed, but still said solemnly, Dong Huang is too strong. According to our calculations, his combat strength is probably more than 120 million. Do you think so? Yes. The emperor did not deny it. He chuckled. Definitely. It might even exceed this number. 150 million is not impossible. As for Emperor God and Do, they're probably close to Celestial Emperor. As for Celestial Emperor and Sun God, our estimate is 200 million. What about you? Qin Fengqing raised his brows. I know the human race is strong. It's actually helpful to you. I don't believe you haven't broken 100 million. Barely broke 100 million. The emperor did not deny it. He smiled. The gap between me and Hong isn't big. Zhen has been consolidating his Dao fruit and looking for stellar stones. Right now, he has a short period of improvement. Soon, he'll be close to 100 million. With the three of us as the main force, Fang Ping can suppress Ling and is starting to get close to this level. With the help of others, including Xu Xiang, who achieved Dao breakthrough 9 years ago. This time, she's also strengthening herself. Even if she's not as good as Zhen, she's close to Huang's level. Qin Fengqing pondered for a while. If we kill Dong Huang, it won't be small. The seed will definitely know. So what if they know? The emperor laughed. Did the seed say that Hao is one of us? Can't we kill him? We're just guessing. Hao is Celestial Emperor's lackey. We're the seed's lackeys. Isn't it logical to kill him? After killing him, we still have to ask for benefits from the seed to consolidate our position. At the same time, we can tell the seed that we're the only two people it can trust. This will help us fight for greater benefits. Qin Fengqing looked at him and grinned. Why are you looking for me? My strength isn't that great. Although I broke 9 before and improved this time, I'm at most 50 million calories. Are you afraid that Fang Ping won't believe you and want me to talk to them? Yes and no. If you talk to them, they'll be more at ease. The emperor laughed. Also, I hope you can talk to Wang Jinyang and the others. Qin Fengqing was stunned. Then his expression changed slightly. You want to lure out Dong Huang's Dao fruit? Let old Wang and the others open the passageway. Yes, Qin Fengqing said in a low voice. They won't agree. Fang Ping won't either. Once the passageway's location is exposed, all 3 of them will be in danger. Do you really think I don't know? That's why I can only ask you to convince them. The emperor laughed. I can't do it. Fang Ping won't trust me. But you can. You're friends with the 3 reincarnations. If you kill Hao, I guarantee that I won't ask for Hao's Dao fruit. You guys can distribute it. Qin Fengqing stared at him, frowning in silence. After a while, he bared his teeth and said, "All right, I'll go, but I want star stones, a lot of them. I'll forge a clone and send it to Earth. I'll give some to Fong Ping to show my sincerity. This guy has a big appetite. If you talk to him about working together without giving him any benefits, he'll spit you to death." The emperor laughed. He was not surprised. He tossed out 5 star stones and laughed. "That's all I have. I only have these left after all these years. Qin Feng Qing, it's a win-win cooperation. As for killing Hao and thinking of attacking me at the same time, you better not think about it. I'm not that stupid. I'll trust you guys completely." Qin Feng Qing snorted and sneered. "Dong Huang isn't that stupid either. This plan might not work. Moreover, you have to attack the source, which is even more dangerous. It doesn't have to be the source. Outside the source is fine too." The emperor said faintly, "If the 3 reincarnations are willing, they can help Hao get out first and kill him outside." We'll see." Qin Feng Qing was too lazy to answer. The possibility was not high. However, returning to Earth was good too. The emperor suddenly looked for him today and wanted to kill Dong Huang. Qin Feng Qing felt that there were some things he might not know. He should go back and ask. This guy, the emperor, was not simple either. He did not even want the Dao fruit and insisted on killing Dong Huang. What was this guy's purpose? Was it really to strengthen their position? Did they not want to be abandoned by the seeds? Qin Feng Qing's head hurt. These things became more troublesome the more he thought about it. The clues he knew were limited. Maybe he would know more if he asked Fong Ping. That fellow was sly and cunning. Chapter 1455. Kill Dong Huang. In the magic martial arts Grand Hall, Fang Ping circled around Qin Fengqing. This was a clone. Qin Fengqing lay lazily on the chair and yawned. What do you think? Nothing much. Fang Ping pursed his lips. This guy might be the seed's loyal lackey, trying to lure out the three emperors' Dao, right? Fang Ping had some suspicions. Firstly, the human sovereign knew about the collaboration between the celestial arch and the seed, so he wanted to take the opportunity to eliminate Dong Huang and reduce his opponents. Secondly, Dong Huang might be a pawn of the seed. He was left behind to kill the celestial arch. After all, the seed and the celestial arch were working together. They didn't say that they wouldn't kill the celestial arch. The celestial arch found out that something was wrong and asked the human sovereign to do it. Yes, it wasn't impossible for both sides to plant spies in each other's camps. Thirdly, to lure out the great Tao of the three emperors. Actually, Fang Ping felt that the third possibility was the most likely. Cooperate to kill Dong Huang? He could not have killed Dong Huang earlier or later, but now he had to kill Dong Huang. And he even had to lure the three emperors' great Tao out of the Tao fruit. How dangerous was this? At the side, Elder Zhang said in a low voice, "There's not much benefit in killing Dong Huang. His hostility towards humans isn't too deep, at least not yet. I don't think there's a need to take the risk." On the other side, Old Wang hesitated and said, "Killing Dong Huang is very difficult. Moreover, actually, I feel for him. Previously, when he combined my three Daos, although it might not have been out of good intentions, now, his plan was not to attack Dong Huang now. Dong Huang had given him some help previously. However, very quickly, Lao Wang exhaled and said, 'You can decide. I'm not fighting. If it's beneficial to the human race, you can decide.'" Fang Ping fell into deep thought. After thinking for a while, he looked at Qin Fengqing and asked, "What do you think?" "I think." Qin Fengqing smiled and said, "Whatever. It doesn't matter if I kill one or two. Both of them are very strong. Who do you think is suitable to kill?" "Humph, maybe they are in cahoots." Fang Ping said coldly, "Do you really think I'm a weakling that you can kill as you please?" Fang Ping pondered for a while. "If we're talking about killing an emperor is easier. As for the Tao fruit, the Azure Cat could find the Tao fruit, but it was not impossible. Why did he have to use the Tao of the three emperors to tempt him? I have a feeling that the human emperor is up to no good. This fellow is most likely trying to find the entrance to the great Tao." Qin Fengqing said, lazily, "It's not like he doesn't know how paranoid you are. Isn't it too obvious? This guy asked me to find you. Do you think he wants to catch all of you in one fell swoop? Catch them all in one go?" Fang Ping sneered. Then he frowned and said, "The emperor's goal is indeed unclear. Killing Dong Huang? I don't think it's possible. It's also very difficult." As he said that, Fang Ping shook his head slightly. "Forget it. Leave him be. You agreed to join forces with him." Fang Ping agreed, casually, saying indifferently, "How about this? You go and tell him that the 18 levels of heaven have converged. He, the earthly sovereign, and you are all lying in ambush there." Qin Fengqing blinked. "We're lying in ambush. What about you?" "Nonsense. I have to go later. If I arrive first, it'll be easy for me to be ambushed." Then, as Qin Fengqing spoke, he raised his eyebrows and said, "You brat, you're not going to stand me up, are you?" "I don't understand what you're saying." Fang Ping said impatiently, "All right, that's it. We'll take the things. If there's nothing else, get lost. Your seedling's lackey now. If I don't trust you, get as far away as you can. 3 days later, the 18 levels of heaven will converge. Dong Huang is not far from there. Lure Dong Huang out and kill him. That's it." Qin Fengqing bared his teeth. This was too *King casual. Killing Dong Huang? You're being so casual. Do you think I'm stupid and have no arrangements at all? Hurry up and get lost. That's it. If they don't go to the 18 levels of heaven, you'll be a traitor to humanity. I'll deal with you later. Qin Fengqing bared his teeth. You mean I have to bring them there, right? No problem. What if you don't bring them there? Then I'll deal with them as traitors. How? Duh, I'll kill them with one slash. What else can I do? Qin Fengqing bared his teeth. Mother *Cur. At least give me a complete plan. Will he believe it if it's so casual? Make it up yourself. Fang Ping looked impatient and insincere. Think of a way to make it up. It's best if he believes it. If he doesn't, bring them there. We'll make our move in 3 days. Qin Fengqing cursed. If you don't come, won't he know that I'm fooling him? So what? Kill you? *CK me. Are you sure you won't go? Guess. I'm not guessing. Qin Fengqing looked annoyed. Guess your sister. I'm not guessing. All right, get lost. We humans will be discussing important matters next. If you have nothing to do, go away. Qin Fengqing looked gloomy. He humphed and said sullenly, I'm going to take a walk. It's not easy for me to come out. Up to you, Fang Ping said, looking at Old Man Li. Teacher, keep an eye on him. Monitor him. See if he's done anything bad. If he's done something bad, kill him. That's it. Qin Fengqing's face darkened. He left in anger. Old Man Li chuckled and left as well. Old Zhang laughed. He won't, right? Ignore him. Just keep an eye on him. What's wrong? Fang Ping said nonchalantly, it's best if he doesn't have any bad intentions. If he does, I'll kill his clone. As he said that, he looked at everyone. The Emperor suddenly wants to kill East Emperor. This is strange. I'm starting to wonder if this guy is creating an opportunity for me on purpose. What do you mean? Old Zhang was stunned. Fang Ping rubbed his chin. I was thinking of going to the Source Land. He transferred himself, East Emperor, and Earthly Emperor away. The Emperor God won't go out. The Heavenly Reverse Emperor is guarding his own territory and Emperor Nan's territory. How much strength can he spare now? The Spirit Emperor is at the Source Land. When the Source Land arrives, won't the only ones left be North Emperor and Beast Emperor? Huh. Old Zhang was slightly stunned. Fang Ping was also puzzled. Is this guy creating an opportunity for us on purpose? Actually, he wants us to kill North Emperor and Beast Emperor? To be honest, it won't be a problem for me and Heavenly King Garrison to take down one of them each. Moreover, the others won't have spare strength to rescue them. Isn't this giving us meat? If we kill one, there will be one less for the 9 emperors. Just like what he said, one less means one less scheme. I'm just thinking of killing them, but he's giving me an opportunity right away. I'm a little worried. You want to kill Beast Emperor and North Emperor. Old Zhang interrupted. You want to kill both of them at once. Aren't you afraid that the Celestial Emperor and the others will come out and kill you? What's there to be afraid of? Fang Ping said disapprovingly, the Celestial Emperor wants them dead. He wants everyone dead. It's best if they die. But if the fruits are taken away, the Celestial Emperor probably won't be happy. He might snatch the fruits, but he won't care if they die or not. After all, if the fruits are taken away, the Source Land will collapse easily. The Emperor God and Battle Emperor are actually the Emperor God's underlings. Fang Ping hesitated. What the Emperor God is trying to do, I really don't understand. As he said that, Fang Ping gritted his teeth. Whatever, I'll kill them. Killing these two can at least free Heavenly King Garrison. Even if Heavenly King Garrison is more powerful now, these two together are enough. Oh, Old Wang, when the time comes, You'll be in charge of opening your passageway. I'll see if I can make the old guy's fruits leave. The old guy is Sun God's disciple. Will this guy just watch at the crucial moment? We'll kill them, and he'll be in charge of the rear. I don't think it's a big problem." As he said that, Fang Ping said, "Old Zhang, you, me, and Cat will be in charge of killing Beast Emperor. Let Heavenly King garrison, and the others kill North Emperor. Is there any problem on your side?" Old Zhang said confidently, "It's just a Beast Emperor. Hee hee." Fang Ping rolled his eyes. How arrogant! With the system, he really thought of himself as the protagonist. Old Zhang could not be bothered with him. Are we really going to act in 3 days? Of course not. Fang Ping curled his lips. How can we act in 3 days? Then if we act in advance, and they don't go to 18 levels of heaven, won't that be a waste of time? Go find Dong Wang. Fang Ping looked at Old Wang and said, "Old Wang, it's up to you. Think of a way to contact Dong Wang and tell him that Emperor wants to ambush and kill him. You can't bear to see your teachers kill each other. Tell him that there's an ambush in 18 levels of heaven." Old Wang frowned. If that's the case, if he chooses to avoid it, won't we be unable to restrain him? Are you stupid? If he doesn't know about it, then he'll hide well and won't come out rashly. If he knows about it, then he knows about it and deliberately created an opportunity for us. He won't care if we kill him. Fang Ping chuckled. If he joins forces with Emperor, both sides will continue to put on an act for us to see. Old Zhang frowned. But what if they're ambushing us? What should we do? Once we act, they will join forces to attack us. Won't that be dangerous? Fang Ping laughed. There's also this possibility. By surrounding and killing us, they can force Old Wang and the others to open the passageway and let us escape, forcing them to reveal the location of the passageway. Then what should we do? Fang Ping shrugged. What else can we do? Open it. At most, we can open 2. If we don't open the last one, either the 3 emperors don't die or their paths will be cut off. So, even if we find 2, these guys might not cut off their paths unless all 3 are exposed at the same time. That's too risky. Old Zhang said in a low voice, "Why don't we tell them about Celestial Emperor's plan? What do you think?" It's not very useful. Whether they know or not, actually at this point they already have no choice. Fang Ping exhaled. If we tell them, it'll easily attract Celestial Emperor's attention. Who knows if Celestial Emperor has planted someone among them? It's fine to tell Sun God, but if we tell those guys, be careful that they won't even give us the last chance and finish us off in advance. Fang Ping continued. There's a high chance of killing Beast Emperor and North Emperor. It can let suppressing Heavenly King escape. I said we'll attack 3 days later. If Earthly Emperor and the others really attack, then we'll have to make arrangements the next day and go to 18 levels of heaven. If we don't go, then it'll be fake. Let Qin Fengqin be a spy and give us the signal. If we go, we'll enter the source the day after tomorrow to kill. Qin Fengqin. Old Zhang whispered, "Aren't you afraid that he's in cahoots with Emperor and the others? What's there to be afraid of? It's not like we can count on him alone." Fang Ping laughed. "It's not like there's no one in our source land. Let the God creation envoy go to 18 levels of heaven to keep an eye on it. There's still hope for Shu Xiang and suppressing Heavenly King to work together to deal with North Emperor. If that doesn't work, we can use Heavenly Hound and the others. Our goal is still to kill Beast Emperor quickly." Old Zhang exhaled. "I keep feeling that it's too fast. This is actually not a good time to make a move. I keep feeling that there's a conspiracy. These emperors are not normal. It's as if they can't wait for you to kill a few of them." Fang Ping raised his eyebrows. Needless to say, even he himself had this feeling. These old things seemed to be eager for him to kill a few emperors. Of course, they were all weak emperors. Powerhouses all had their own thoughts. However, Beast Emperor and North Emperor might have their own plans. For example, the planets with life. However, these two fellows seem to have been excluded from the powerhouse circle. Is it a scavenger? At this moment, Fong Ping suddenly had such a thought. These fellows wanted him to be a scavenger. If that was what Celestial Emperor was thinking, then what about the Divine Emperors and the others? This time, was it Emperor's own idea, or was it someone else who made him do it? Who? Seed? Celestial Emperor? Divine Emperor? Divine Emperor? The relationship between these emperors was so complicated that it was impossible to tell who belonged to who. They were all top-notch powerhouses. Perhaps there was no such thing as who belonged to who. They were all doing it for their own interests and for themselves. Since they all want me to be a scavenger, then I'll be a scavenger. Fong Ping really did not mind being an executioner. Beside him, old Zhang suddenly said, Fong Ping, if Emperor and the others knew about Celestial Emperor's plan, what do you think they would do? Huh. Old Zhang raised his eyebrows. They don't dare to destroy the celestial source openly, but they can make the source land more chaotic, so that Celestial Emperor has no choice but to use more strength to suppress it. In reality, they won't fight with us for the Tao fruits. They can't wait for the fruits to be broken. The more emperors die, the better. Let the source be in chaos. Fong Ping was slightly shocked. You mean, yes, restrict Celestial Emperor. By killing some emperors, let Celestial Emperor use more strength to suppress it and be tired of dealing with it. Old Zhang laughed. Celestial Emperor also wants you to deal with them, but Celestial Emperor doesn't want us to take away the Tao fruits. If Emperor and the others know about Celestial Emperor's thoughts, their idea is to let the source land restrain Celestial Emperor. So, if you really want to know, killing a few emperors might be their common idea. The difference is that one needs the Tao fruits to be broken, the other needs the Tao fruits to be left behind. If the Tao fruits were left behind, then there would not be a situation where the first heaven could not be suppressed. If the Tao fruits were broken and someone escaped, then there would be a first heaven. If the Tao fruits were lost, the power would escape from the source land and must be suppressed. Fong Ping calculated for a while and could not help but sneer. In that case, weak emperors are actually meant to be killed. Both sides may want these people to die. The only difference is that after they die, their power will be taken away or left in the source land. That's right. Old Zhang nodded. So, killing them may not be dangerous, but after killing them, snatching the Tao fruits may be the biggest danger. It's okay. The sun god is still here. Fong Ping narrowed his eyes. It's not like we're saving ourselves or the heavenly king. How can the sun god not make a move? How can he be embarrassed? Old Zhang was speechless. Were you sure that he was embarrassed? Fong Ping was stunned. That was true. That shameless old man might really be embarrassed. If the Heavenly Emperor makes a move, he will make a move. If the Heavenly Emperor doesn't make a move, he probably won't make a move. The Heavenly Emperor wants to keep the Tao fruits. The others may hope that the Heavenly Emperor will use more power to suppress the source land. So, it's not a big problem. Fong Ping thought for a while and said, I'll go to Sun City later and tell him. If it doesn't work, I'll just abandon the Heavenly King and let this old man save it himself. As Fong Ping said that, he chuckled. That's good too. Get ready. We'll enter the source land the day after tomorrow. When we go in, we'll find the Beast Emperor and the others and kill them directly. We'll destroy the vitality seeds at the same time. There are too many human martial artists pinned down there. It's very troublesome. Old Zhang nodded. Old Wang and the other two also nodded slightly. Now, these things were decided by Fong Ping. Even if they felt that it was not the right time, since Fang Ping had decided to kill, everyone would support him. Fang Ping asked again, "What about Celestial Pole? We will go in the day after tomorrow. I will leave a clone behind and let Heaven's Pole attack the 9 heavens with me. Let's see if we can lure Western Emperor out. Once he comes out, we can attack the celestial origin world and restrain Spirit Emperor. At the same time, we can also divert Heaven Emperor's attention." Old Zhang couldn't help laughing. Celestial Pole? If you didn't mention it, I would have forgotten about it. He locked himself in the small world of Polaris City, saying that he wanted to cultivate in seclusion and wouldn't come out no matter what. He exiled himself. Fang Ping was also speechless. This guy had reached a whole new level of cowardice. He had actually forgotten about him. He had forgotten that there was actually a guy on Earth who had broken through 8. Find him and bring him up to the 9 heavens. After saying that, Fang Ping glanced at old Zhang and sent a voice transmission. "Have you completed the conversion now?" "It's done, but it hasn't undergone a qualitative change." Old Zhang had a headache. His mentality had been converted to 99,999 hertz, and his vitality had decreased a little, but the qualitative change had not been completed. In the past few days, Fang Ping had integrated some cities. In fact, the human race's strength had increased a lot, but this was not enough. Qualitative change was still relatively difficult. Try to breach the void gate. There's still a void gate, right? Yes. Old Zhang's Tao was still there. Of course, there was still a void gate. It was just that it was not controlled by the immortal source. Void gate. I'm afraid it's still lacking a little. Lacking what? Fang Ping said in surprise. The others only underwent a qualitative change after breaking through the void gate. You've already reached the peak. Theoretically, breaking through the void gate shouldn't be difficult. Nonsense. I have to be able to reach it first. Old Zhang rolled his eyes. I have the ability to break through, but the length of the Tao isn't enough. I haven't reached the void gate area yet. Do you want me to break through the gate through the air? Fang Ping was stunned for a moment. That made sense. Although his mentality had reached that level, old Zhang was different from the other old antiques. The other old antiques had actually walked through the gate, first before reaching the point where they could breach the gate. Old Zhang had not reached that point yet. What should we do then? Nothing. Old Zhang replied. Very quickly, he said, "It's not that there's no way. If you want to go further on the Emperor path, there are still ways. For example, getting the recognition of powerhouses. You can't do it. You've completely broken away. Now find a few emperors to recognize you, and I can go further immediately. For example, old Deviljean. For example, the God Creation Envoy. For example, the Heavenly Dog. For example, Qin Feng Qing." As he said that, he added, "Scholarly fragrance is fine too." These fellows actually did not recognize the human race. Perhaps it was not that they did not recognize it, but they did not think that old Zhang was qualified to be their boss. Therefore, old Zhang's emperor path could not borrow power from them. Those who could borrow power were some real human powerhouses. Fang Ping frowned. The others are hard to convince. Qin Feng Qing, this son of a bitch, actually doesn't recognize it either. He's not convinced. No, his clone hasn't left yet, right? I'll go beat him up. If that doesn't work, I'll inform Heavenly King Zhen and the others to deal with this son of a bitch at the source land. I've raised him for so many years, yet he doesn't recognize the Emperor path. He's not giving me face, is he? Old Zhang laughed. That's normal. He's this kind of lawless fellow. If you let him be my son, Fang he Ping might not said be willing. Impatiently. What son?
This is called supporting the development and construction of the human race, defending the interests of the human race. This fellow. No, I have to teach him a lesson.
there might be restrictions on the seed. Old Wang still helped to explain. Even if he wants to recognize it, the seed might not be able to stop this kind of recognition. Otherwise, if he's restricted by the emperor path, then wouldn't the seed be cultivating the emperor for us for nothing? As soon as these words came out, Fang Ping's anger dissipated a little. This was a possibility. However, he still decided to teach him a lesson. Then let's try someone else. Fang Ping thought for a while. Heavenly King Zhen and the God Creation Envoy. These fellows are not the kind who will bow down easily. Scholarly Fragrance. He used to be a book boy, an ancient human. He still recognizes the human race quite a bit. Even if it's to avenge Zhan, he's not the kind of person who fights for victory. If you let him recognize the human race, you should be able to have a qualitative change directly. And you can even walk a long path. Fang Ping set his sights on Scholarly Fragrance. To put it bluntly, the others were all overlords of a region. They were used to being lawless and unruly. An old antique like Heavenly King Zhen would not recognize old Zhang so easily. A long time ago, the cat said that Heavenly King Zhen and old Zhang had to fight. Unless old Zhang really defeated him, then Heavenly King Zhen might possibly recognize old Zhang's position. Otherwise, don't even think about it. Although Scholarly Fragrance was also powerful, he was not born as an overlord. His identity had always been a book boy. His goal was not to become an overlord, but to avenge Zhan. Obtaining Scholarly Fragrance's recognition was easier. Fang Ping thought for a while and smiled. How about this? I'll make a trip to the source later. I won't enter, but I'll talk to Scholarly Fragrance 3 doors away. If it's successful, your strength will increase greatly. Scholarly Fragrance is not weak. If I don't enter the source, those fellows probably won't do anything to me. After Fang Ping said that, he exhaled and said, first become stronger, then clean up those weak emperors. Finally, whether it's to break the immortal source or to deal with the emperor god, and the others will take it one step at a time. Everyone had no objections. The reason why they did not make accurate arrangements was because they were not strong enough. If they were not strong enough, the arrangements would be for nothing. Not long after, Qin Fengqing's clone returned to the source, incomplete. He found Emperor and told him to meet in 3 days. Fang Ping agreed. As for the clone being beaten like a dog, Qin Fengqing was too lazy to say anything. It was good enough that the clone was not destroyed. After a while, in a dark world where no one condensed Dao fruits, Emperor chuckled. He agreed, but with his personality, it's hard to say whether he will come or not. This time, is your goal to break the Dao fruit or the path of the 3 emperors? What do you think? In the darkness, someone answered. What do I think? Emperor smiled faintly. I don't want to guess. It's meaningless. I'm just afraid that the next one to be settled will be me. I don't care what you want to do. You and I are not the same kind of people. The only thing I need is King Marshall's Dao fruit. You guys promise me this. King Marshall's Dao fruit will definitely be yours. Emperor said faintly, it sounds nice, but it's not easy. Take care of King Marshall. What about Fang Ping? It's because it's too difficult that I have no choice but to give up. Of course, this is your problem. I only want this. Give it to me when you get it. Before that, I won't appear. Of course. I'm just afraid someone will sell me out and give the Dao fruit to King Marshall. Emperor laughed faintly, saying it lightly, but he did not care too much. He said casually, try it. Maybe there's a chance. If there's really no chance, I'll completely sell myself to the seed. The new world may still need a fighter that can be completely controlled, and not a partner like the others. Emperor laughed, his apparition dissipating instantly. Chapter 1456. Outside the source, Fang Ping's real body materialized, standing outside the door, saying loudly, Senior Xu Xiang, I'm here to visit. Fong Ping's voice reverberated in the source. At this moment, almost all the powerhouses in the source heard his roar. Why was this guy here again? Of course. This time he did not barge in directly but waited outside the door. The emperor and the others were even more puzzled. Did this guy not just agree to kill Dong Huang? Why did he come after Qin Fengqing? Did he contact Xu Xiang and the others on purpose? Then he should look for Heavenly King Garrison. Everyone was puzzled, but no one cared about Fong Ping. It was fine as long as he did not come in. After leaving the source, a part of these emperors' power had to be suppressed in the source. Even if the emperor and the others left the source now, they might not be Fong Ping's match. This guy was a professional, underhanded person. It was not surprising that he could kill an emperor casually. Fong Ping roared. After a while, the door vibrated, and Xu Xiang walked out of the door. However, Xu Xiang's aura changed greatly when he went out. Although he had to suppress the cracks inside the source, the difficulty was much lower outside the source. Through the door, transmitting power to suppress across space consumed a lot of energy. Xu Xiang's aura instantly dropped a lot. Human King! Xu Xiang smiled and saluted Fong Ping. She was still the size of a child. Fong Ping chuckled. How have you been recently, Senior? I'm fine. Xu Xiang was all smiles. Lord Garrison and Lord Creator are here. The others dare not act rashly. He called these people lords out of habit. In the past, he was just a boy servant. Compared to these emperors' VIPs, his status was very different. Even today, Xu Xiang did not change this way of addressing him. Fong Ping's smile grew brighter. This was a good thing. He was afraid that Xu Xiang would have different thoughts after achieving Dao validation. Xu Xiang had broken 9 years ago. After achieving Dao validation this time, his improvement was still very fast. Fong Ping could not accurately judge the current Xu Xiang, but he felt that his limit should be about 60 million. At this time, it was also the period of rapid improvement for new emperors like them. After a while, they would reach their limit, and it would be difficult to improve further. I came here today to ask something. Please speak, Human King. Xu Xiang was a little surprised. Fong Ping did not look for Heavenly King Garrison and the others but him. Senior, what do you think of the human race? Xu Xiang was slightly taken aback. What kind of question was this? Even though she didn't understand, Xu Xiang thought for a while and said, You and I are both humans. Other than the demon race, the humans from the land, the ancient humans, and the current neo-martial artists actually all originate from the same source. Same origin. Fong Ping said with a smile, Nowadays, there aren't many who regard themselves as humans. Almost all of them felt that they had already become immortals and that there was no such thing as a human anymore. Senior said that they came from the same source, but they wouldn't agree. Xu Xiang sternly said, No matter how powerful we are all from the human race. Master often mentioned this when he was around. Power is power. Even if we evolve and become more powerful, our race will not change. Fong Ping laughed. This little old man was quite cute. He liked to hear such words. Things should be much easier to handle. Senior, what do you think of the current human emperor? I'm talking about King Wu, not Ji. What do you think of King Wu? King Wu, Xu Xiang was no fool. She seemed to have understood something as she frowned slightly. Fong Ping wanted her to acknowledge King Wu, or rather, acknowledge this king, the king of the human race, sincerely acknowledge him. Xu Xiang hesitated for a moment and said slowly, Although I don't know much about King Wu, from a few words, I know that King Wu is a rare virtuous king in the past 40,000 years. As she said that, she paused and said, However, I've been following Master since ancient times. Until now, it has been almost 30,000 years. Although King Wu is virtuous and strong compared to Master, he did not finish his sentence, but he felt that King Wu was far inferior to Heavenly Emperor Zhan. Since that was the case, he felt that he could not acknowledge King Wu as his leader. It was not that he looked down on King Wu, but he did not want to equate King Wu with Heavenly Emperor Zhan. Fang Ping was not surprised. He said with a smile, "Then, is Wang Jinyang considered Zhan's descendant or life inheritance?" Xu Xiang frowned slightly. Very quickly she nodded and said, "Yes." If so, Wang Jinyang acknowledges King Wu. "Senior, do you think that means that Heavenly Emperor Zhan also acknowledges King Wu?" This was a stolen concept. Xu Xiang knew what he meant. At this moment, she looked troubled. Fang Ping smiled again and said, "Senior, King Wu's strength may not be as good as Heavenly Emperor Zhan, but in other aspects," Fang Ping looked serious and said in a low voice, "I feel that in the 40,000 years of human history, those who can compare to King Wu are definitely rare, not even Heavenly Emperor Zhan." Xu Xiang's expression changed slightly. Fang Ping pointed to the outside of the source universe and said in a low voice, "The human race is about to be annihilated. Danger lurks everywhere and chaos appears. What is King Wu's strength? Even if he does not know about the existence of emperors and heavenly kings, with his absolute strength, there are hundreds of catacombs absolute masters. He strengthens the new martial arts, allowing the human race to live and work in peace and contentment." Everyone has enough to eat and drink and does not need to worry about their livelihood. In the past 40,000 years, in which era did not people starve to death or freeze to death? Not in new martial arts. People in new martial arts, there are birth, old age, sickness, and death. There are tens of millions of people who died in the catacombs. However, in the new martial arts revival, when the human race is facing a great enemy, the three realms are enemies, they live and work in peace and contentment, creating the human race's golden age. The old have someone to rely on. The young have someone to support. In the struggle for power and internal troubles, new martial arts has the least. Fang Ping's tone was passionate. He created the golden age. He revitalized the human race. Without him, where would the Devil King Fang Ping come from? Where would the three emperors reincarnate come from? Where would the human race powerhouses come from? Fang Ping's tone changed from passionate to calm. "Senior, perhaps you think that King Wu's strength is not strong enough. He is not as carefree as Heavenly Emperor Zhan, suppressing the three realms alone. But I still want to ask, Senior, what is Heavenly Emperor Zhan's lifelong dream? To preach to the three realms? To be a teacher? To make everyone in the three realms a powerhouse? Or is it something else? Then let me tell you, Senior, King Wu did better than Heavenly Emperor Zhan. How many people came out of Heavenly Emperor Zhan's combat hall? King Wu controlled the martial arts universities so that billions of people in Sino Nation could read, learn martial arts, and pass down Tao. He introduced martial arts to the whole nation, Martial arts universities produced human heroes one after another. They may not be powerhouses, but they fought for the human race. Even when they died in a foreign land, none of them retreated. Could Heavenly Emperor Zhan do it? King Wu did it. He could make a stubborn person like me sacrifice my life for the human race. Can Heavenly Emperor Zhan do it? Fang Ping said in a low voice. Junior is not belittling Heavenly Emperor Zhan. Heavenly Emperor Zhan is very strong, terrifyingly strong. Junior even feels that in terms of talent, strength, and character, no one in the three realms can compare to him. But he is strong alone. Even if Heavenly Emperor Zhan used the combat hall to pass down Tao, martial arts, secret arts, and did not hide it at all, he is still a formidable person. Compared to King Wu, Junior feels that he is still slightly lacking. Perhaps this is what they often say about the big family and the small family. What Heavenly Emperor Zhan thinks about is his own small family, his own small circle. As for King Wu, Junior feels that he is the real king. Heavenly Emperor Zhan can be an overlord, a peerless powerhouse, but he can't be the king of a clan. I can't either. Fang Ping said, sincerely, a king doesn't need to be very strong. They rely on their charm, courage, ability, and vision to discover those people, to let those powerhouses and capable people do their jobs. Therefore, when King Wu becomes the king, the emperor, there is no one in the human race who is unconvinced. Whether it is me, Heavenly King Zhen, or others, we all admire him. People like us can expand territories, kill enemies, suppress the three realms, but we can't let the people live the lives that they want, the golden age. Fang Ping looked sincere. Senior, recognition is not to be a slave. I only recognize the position of the king of the human race, recognize his commander and dispatch of the human race, recognize his dedication to the human race. Senior, is King Wu's dedication to the human race not enough? I think he has already done it to the extreme. In the 40,000 years of the three realms, even the Divine Emperor and Heavenly Emperor in the ancient times, their dedication, sincerity, and passion to the tribe are not as good as King Wu. Xu Xiang was slightly dazed. He did not expect that the Devil King Fang Ping would praise King Wu so much. It was really a little unexpected. He had stayed in the human world for a few days. During that time, King Wu only did some things behind the scenes. The major events in the human world were actually decided by Fang Ping and Heavenly King Zhen, based on his understanding of Fang Ping and Fang Ping's domineering nature. Xu Xiang felt that even if Fang Ping did not seize King Wu's power, he did not take King Wu too seriously. However, today, he realized that he was wrong. Fang Ping very much recognized King Wu's leadership of the human race. Even he himself defined himself as a hatchet man, a vanguard. The king of the human race, from the beginning to the end, had always been that King Wu. Not too domineering, not too saintly. Xu Xiang felt that it was very normal. Of course, there was also something unusual. The Devil King actually recognized him wholeheartedly. He was really a little surprised. King Wu, Xu Xiang murmured. This martial artist that he was not too familiar with and did not have a deep memory of had suddenly left a deep impression on him this time. It was not that easy to obtain the recognition of an emperor. At this moment, Xu Xiang still did not recognize that non-emperor. However, Xu Xiang was still a little moved. After a while, he said slowly, King Run, during those days in the human world, I have not traveled the human world. Master has been imparting knowledge all his life, and he places great importance on imparting knowledge. I have also heard of the name of martial arts universities. King Ren, can Xu Xiang tour the martial arts universities today? Not only martial arts universities, but also some of the human world schools and private schools. Sure. Fang Ping laughed and said, let's do it now. There's no time like the present. Lest you think that we are pretending, I also want to let you see, in this chaotic time of war, on the eve of the extinction of the human race, how is the human race? The golden age lasts forever. As long as the powerhouses do not perish, as long as King Wu does not perish, the human race will be in the golden age. Xu Xiang was moved. Such arrogance, such strong confidence. Xu Xiang did not say anything else. He did not descend with his avatar, but left directly with his real body. Although descending to the human world would greatly reduce his strength, leaving at most 30%, he did not care. If the powerhouses in the human world really wanted to do anything to him, it would be useless even if they descended with their real bodies. 30% strength was enough. Earth. As the war continued to erupt, ancient secrets gradually spread. The danger of extinction was right before their eyes, and the human race was slightly shaken. However, the powerful King Wu Fangping, the calm and composed King Wu Zhongtao, and the human powerhouses who were still fighting and fighting were still holding on in front. Although the hearts of the people were shaken, they still maintained peace and stability. The deepest impression that new martial arts brought to the human race in 100 years was nothing else. It was that even if the sky fell, the powerhouses would hold it up. The sky did not fall. The powerhouses were still there. Then, the human race would not perish. The Golden Age existed. Now, it was already July. In previous years, it would have been summer vacation at this time. However, now that the war was coming, the holidays had been canceled, and the martial arts universities were still reopening. Batch after batch of new students poured in. Young people full of vigor and vitality carried yearning, excitement, and some fear, but they were still determined to enter martial arts universities. Even if they were still weak and might not have the chance to participate in the final battle, the pinnacle of the battle, they still fought for the legacy, not the martial arts legacy, but the legacy of the spirit of new martial arts. Martial artists must fight, and martial artists would not retreat. If the powerhouses died in battle, they would replace them. Even if their country was destroyed, they would perish in battle. They would never kneel and die in submission. Kill! Battle cries filled the air. This was an ordinary martial arts university. On the big field, young martial artists were sparring with each other, every move drawing blood. In the void, Xu Xiang and Fang Ping were watching. Xu Xiang did not pay much attention. This kind of sparring was too weak for him. What he cared about was not this, but the teachers and students in the teaching block continued with their classes amidst the clamor of battle cries. They explained the catacombs, ancient civilization, beginner martial arts, and origin. Impart knowledge. Martial artists were not pure butchers, boors, or killing geniuses. They were martial artists. The battle cries outside the window did not disturb the students who were still in class. They were absorbing all kinds of knowledge to prepare for the future. They asked questions one by one, and the teachers patiently pointed and taught them again and again. Martial arts universities. Xu Xiang was a little dazed. This was a martial arts university, similar to the battle hall. Yes, they were all very weak, unlike the battle hall, where the people who went were at least desperate realms. Here, they were all a group of young people, all weak, but their thirst for knowledge and martial arts was even stronger than those powerhouses who went to the battle hall. The teachers were conscientious, and the students listened carefully, imparting knowledge and answering questions. This Xu Xiang was a little shocked, a little moved. He had never been to these places before. Now that he was suddenly here, he suddenly felt that these were what his master's life pursued, right? Purer than the battle hall. Fang Ping saw him dumbfounded and smiled. Senior, this is only one of the martial arts universities. Let me show you the other martial arts universities. All right. Xu Xiang nodded. He wanted to see if this was a special situation or a common one. One martial arts university, two martial arts universities, three martial arts universities. Gradually, Xu Xiang fell silent. There were too many. There were only so many in Sino Nation. There were institutions similar to martial arts universities all over the world. At this moment, they were all in the same state. Soon, Xu Xiang did not care about Fang Ping anymore. He flew to the ground, minding his own business. This was not a martial arts university. It was just a remote elementary school. Now, a group of ignorant children were listening attentively in class, unaffected by the outside world. They were reading and learning. Xu Xiang said in his sleep, "The clan is going to be wiped out. Is there any use in imparting knowledge to these children now? Their country was going to be wiped out. Should they not be preparing for war now? Should they not be focusing on improving the strength of powerhouses who would have the energy to care about these children during the chaos of war? It was normal for ordinary people to wander from place to place, living in fear. How could it be like this? He turned his head to look. In the distance, in a city, in a small garden that was not considered elegant, a group of old people was still chatting about the future. They were talking about their children who were fighting. They were talking about their friends who had died in battle. They were talking about the future, about peace, about retirement. It seemed like this was still the golden age. Emperors? So what if they were emperors? When emperors came, powerhouses went to kill them. If powerhouses could not kill them, generation after generation of martial artists would fight until the country was destroyed, until the people were wiped out. It was glory for their descendants to die in a foreign land. They would grieve, they would shed tears, they would cry, but they would not kneel. These old people, at the last moment, could still raise their sabers and fight again, even if they could not hurt the enemy. Xu Xiang was even more shocked. He had been to the human world and stayed for a few days, but he either stayed outside the cemetery of war or went to Star City. He did not travel carefully in the human world, nor did he pay attention to the lives of ordinary people. Today he saw it. Xu Xiang turned her head to look at Fang Ping, asking in disbelief, "How did you do it?" Even during the celestial court's most glorious period, they could not do this. Live and work in peace and contentment, develop the people's wisdom, impart knowledge, impart martial arts, each with their own duties. What a golden age! Generations of neo-martial artists watered it with their blood. Fang Ping said calmly, "This golden age was not the work of King Wu in a day. It was created by the entire neo-martial artists. When I was weak, I was protected by my teachers in school. When I was outside school, I was protected by foreign human seniors. When I entered the catacombs, I caused trouble continuously. No one blamed me. Those seniors would only bear everything silently, fight the strong enemies, and kill the strong enemies outside of Earth. When I was strong, I was encouraged by my seniors. Even if I was selfish, even if I was afraid of death, I was willing to contribute to this golden age. If I, Fang Ping, were born in the catacombs, I would be a devil, a real devil, a devil both inside and outside. But I was born in this golden age, born in neo-martial artists, born in this land that I love and hate at the same time. I was bound by them willingly. Even a devil like me could be influenced. These people are the real devils. Therefore, this human world is actually a terrifying devil world." Fang Ping chuckled. "A devil world that bewitches people's hearts. So many geniuses and powerhouses were willing to die for him. Isn't this the devil world? Isn't this the devil path? Even if I die, I will feel that my death is worth it." Xu Xiang was silent. After a while, she suddenly said, "King Wu, if you are the only one left of the human race, will you continue to fight to the death, or escape this war and find a place where no one is around?" Fang Ping said calmly, "I won't be the only one left, because if I die, I will die first. It's not that I'm great, but I have no choice. The hearts of the human race are united because of this. The powerhouses fight first. The powerhouses die in battle. The weak fight again. Wave after wave, passed down from generation to generation until now. If the powerhouses are not all dead, how will the others die? I don't want to die, but I've said it. This is neo-martial artists. Even if you don't want to die, you have to fight. You are not restrained by others. You have to fight. This is the martial path. This is the martial Tao." Xu Xiang murmured, "Was this the way of martial arts? Is this the martial arts that Master is pursuing? Shu Xiang didn't know and didn't understand, but he suddenly felt that perhaps this was what his master was truly pursuing. Therefore, at the last moment, his master came to the human world. Not only was it difficult for him to leave his homeland, but he also wanted to be buried in this martial arts world that he loved. No wonder the fragrance of books murmured. No wonder Zhen likes this place. No wonder the Yang spirit doesn't leave the human world. No wonder the human race has developed to such an extent in just a few decades. Even though they know that the emperor is powerful, they are still willing to fight. At this moment, he somewhat understood. He listened to the sounds around him. He heard them. He heard the babbling child telling his parents and elders that he wanted to be a human king when he grew up, a martial king. He wanted to kill the enemies outside, and he was willing to die in battle in a foreign land to bring peace to the world. Great dreams, childish words. Perhaps in the future, these children would find today's words very shameful. However, Shu Xiang suddenly felt that if the human race faced another crisis in the future, these children might really become the next human king, the next martial king. This feeling was so intense. Shu Xiang exhaled and suddenly laughed. He laughed as if there was no one else around. Master, Shu Xiang seems to understand. He seemed to understand something, but he didn't quite understand. If that was the case, he might as well let Shu Xiang stay in this world for a period of time to understand more, or even integrate into this world. Lord Martial King, Shu Xiang wants to stay in the human world for a period of time. Senior, you can call me Zhang Tao. In the distance, Zhang Tao walked in the air and said with a smile, the human race is also divided by status and strength. However, as long as you abide by the law, you are your own emperor. There is no need to call me Lord. I don't deserve to be called Senior. Everyone is their own emperor. Shu Xiang laughed again. What great ambition, what great tone, what great boldness. In the past, he would have laughed and mocked. But now, he suddenly felt that he shouldn't mock, but should be happy. Below, some people heard the two words martial king. Some people looked up at the sky. The next moment, there was a tsunami of cheers. Invincible martial king. Invincible human king. The cheers echoed throughout the small city, echoing throughout the human world. No one knelt on the ground. There was only excitement, and hot blood. This was the human world. At this moment, Shu Xiang's blood was also boiling. He suddenly bowed at Zhang Tao and said with a low smile, Shu Xiang, may this golden age last forever. Golden age. Boom. The great Tao appeared in the sky. Zhang Tao laughed and walked in the air. With a boom, the gate of spirit was broken. The gate of qi and blood had been broken, and the gate of spirit was broken again. At this moment, the third gate was right in front of him. The gate of life. Breaking the gate meant breaking the 9 gates. Zhang Tao continued forward. Soon, he reached the third gate and laughed. Today, I, Zhang Tao, will break the gate of void. Dear emperors, I apologize for my impoliteness. Rumble. The third gate was broken. Zhang Tao, who had already forged his jade bones, only needed to move forward with the great Tao. And now, a powerful emperor had recognized his rule and his ideals. In one day, Zhang Tao had broken 3 gates. Compared to Li Zhu, he was more popular in the human world. The source trembled. Although Martial King did not cross the broken path and break the true gate to prove his Tao and become an emperor, today, Martial King breaking 3 gates still made the source tremble. At this moment, even the celestial emperor and the sun god could not help but pay attention. Martial King, the current emperor, might be the first, might also be the last. Congratulations to Martial King. A roar came from Fang Ping's mouth, shaking the 3 realms. Congratulations to Martial King. Congratulations to the human race. Roars sounded everywhere. not far away. Shu Xiang was a little awkward, but she laughed and said in a low voice, "Congratulations to Martial King, congratulations to the human race." Chapter 1457. 3 gates were broken. King Wu broke through 9 gates today. He did not cross the broken path. Perhaps Zhang Tao had a way to cross the broken path, but he chose not to. Once he crossed the broken path and became an emperor, his strength might increase again, but he would be controlled by the source. Zhang Tao chose to stop before the broken path. In the void, 3 gates were projected. Real gates. At this moment, a voice was heard. "Congratulations, King Wu." With a faint smile, it was the earthly sovereign. Soon, the human sovereign's voice was heard, slightly complicated. He said softly, "Congratulations." Yes, he was also congratulating. Very complicated. Others had broken through 9, or even reached the Tao. These people did not say anything, but for King Wu to break through 9, a few monarchs congratulated him. The true human path. Zhang Tao walked out of human path. Even if Fang Ping did not help Zhang Tao, he would walk out of human path sooner or later. Today's congratulations were for opening the path. Although he did not jump out of the source, Zhang Tao broke through 3 gates, and the emperors still congratulated him. Not only that, at this moment, there was suddenly a peerless might. "King Wu, if you prove your Tao today, I will protect you." At this moment, the 3 realms were shocked. The weak did not know this person's identity, but the strong knew. Celestial Emperor. The Celestial Emperor, who rarely appeared, actually appeared at this moment. Not only that, but he also invited Zhang Tao to prove his Tao. At this moment, between heaven and earth, before the broken path, a great path was built. Celestial Emperor's voice was calm as he continued, "I invite King Wu to prove his Tao. Open the path of the human sovereign." The 3 realms were silent. Shocking. The creator of the source, Celestial Emperor, today invited a martial artist who broke through 9 gates to prove his Tao, took the initiative to invite him, and even promised to protect him. No matter what the Celestial Emperor was planning, he was the invincible powerhouse of the 3 realms. His words in front of the 3 realms were worth it. If Zhang Tao proved his Tao today, he might not die in the final battle. At this moment, the other emperors were silent. In midair, a golden path appeared under Zhang Tao's feet, leading directly to the 3 gates. Stepping on it, there was no need to think about foundation or energy anymore. He could directly cross the broken path and prove his Tao. Temptation? A huge temptation. The Celestial Arch had said that he would protect Zhang Tao. This was also a promise that everyone dreamed of. Would Zhang Tao prove his Tao? At this moment, the eyes of the 3 realms were focused on Zhang Tao. Zhang Tao stood in front of the broken path and said in a clear voice, "Thank you, Heavenly Monarch, for thinking so highly of me. I would like to ask one more thing. Can Heavenly Monarch give up on the immortal source trap?" "I can't." The Heavenly Emperor's voice was calm. "The matter of the immortal origin must be carried out. There is no turning back." Zhang Tao laughed heartily and said, "Then I thank the Celestial Arch for your kindness. It's fine if I don't prove my Tao. The source, the cage, is also protection." The Heavenly Emperor remained calm. Life and death are not important in the Origin Tao. The Origin Tao is for emperors. The Origin Tao protects us. If one did not enter the Tao of the source, even if it was destroyed, it would not cause great harm to the source. Once one entered the source and became an emperor, a crack would appear in the source once the great Tao collapsed. The Celestial Arch would also protect the Tao of the origin. A very complicated relationship. The Celestial Emperor wanted to kill the 9 emperors, but at the same time, he didn't want to destroy their Tao fruits in order to prevent the origin ground from shaking. If they didn't enter the source, then so be it. It didn't matter. At this moment, the celestial larch asked again, "Is King Wu willing to prove his Tao?" "No." Zhang Tao smiled and said, "Since it was created by the human race, then let it be destroyed by the human race. My great Tao is bestowed by the human race." "What a pity!" The heavenly emperor sighed softly. The pressure dissipated. The great Tao in front of the broken path collapsed and disappeared completely. What a pity! Human Tao had a great supplement effect on the origin, even better than monster plant Tao. Once Zhang Tao entered the source and condensed his Tao fruit, he could repair many cracks in the source land. This was the Emperor Tao. Unfortunately, Zhang Tao was unwilling and the heavenly emperor would not force him. He also said that if one did not enter the Tao of the source, life and death were fated. No one would care about the survival of this Tao. Zhang Tao laughed loudly and stepped back into the void, not affected at all. Below, Fang Ping chuckled and said, "Why did you refuse? Are you stupid? After proving your Tao and increasing your strength, you can turn around and fight them again. What a good thing. How stupid." Zhang Tao chuckled and said, "Kid, you're still too inexperienced. I promised the heavenly emperor, but some people might not be willing. Isn't that asking for trouble?" Fang Ping laughed. "You mean those people?" If Zhang Tao agreed to the heavenly emperor, the divine emperor, and the others might not be happy. Proving one's Tao, repairing the source land, and reducing the pressure on the heavenly emperor was probably what these people did not want to see. That was why someone made a deal with the emperor previously. The deal was for King Wu's Tao fruit. Obviously, it was one of those people. However, now that King Wu refused to prove his Tao, the Tao fruit did not gather. As for how those people would explain to the emperor, it had nothing to do with Fang Ping and the others. Zhang Tao chuckled and said no more. At this moment, his eyes were deep, looking at Fang Ping, smiling brightly. The qualitative change was complete. The qualitative change was complete, and his mentality skyrocketed. In addition, the third gate was broken, and his vitality also increased. Although it was not too much, it did increase a little. At this moment, Zhang Tao's vitality and mentality were rapidly changing. More than 200,000 hertz of mentality, more than 10 million calories of vitality force. Very soon, Zhang Tao's body vaguely produced some force. It was very fast, much faster than Fang Ping's previous transformation. Very soon, Zhang Tao completed the transformation. With a smile on his face, he looked at Fang Ping, a little proud. Vitality, 0, 16 million calories. Mentality, 0, 160,000 hertz. Force, 1,600 origins, 32 million calories. Vitality, origin increase, 100% Emperor Tao plus. Combat techniques. Zhang Tao's educational record, 15%. Strength control, 97% maximum vitality, 66. 73 million cal/68. 8 million cal close to the limit of 70 million calories. And this was already the limit of Beast, Emperor, Emperor Shi, Emperor Nan, and the others. There was also the unknown Emperor Tao increase. With a base of 32 million calories, Zhang Tao's Tao still retained the 100% increase. It was already extremely powerful. If it was Fang Ping, even if he broke 9, he would not be able to suppress it. Fang Ping looked at Zhang Tao and laughed. It seems like it's not bad. Theoretically, the strength of those who broke 9 could reach more than 40 million calories. For powerhouses who broke 9, these 40 million calories did not even feel like they had the origin increase. It was their own strength. In reality, however, if these powerhouses who broke 9 did not have the origin increase, they would only be around 10 million calories. Old Zhang was about the same. After all, he had broken 2 gates in a day and completed breaking 9. so he was not stronger than other powerhouses who broke 9. At this moment, the origin increase was weakened. However, after converting the force, it had a solid base of 32 million calories. In this way, even without the origin increase, he was still much stronger than those who broke 9. Zhang Tao chuckled. That's for sure. I'm not willing to prove my Tao. Otherwise, if he chose to prove his Tao today, he would be even stronger. Breaking 100 million was not a dream. Still weak. Fang Ping mocked him. Zhang Tao did not take it seriously. He said casually, I can mobilize thousands of Daos. What do you know? Fang Ping actually looked down on him. Be careful that I mobilize thousands of Daos. My strength will skyrocket, and I'll slap you to death. Fang Ping sneered. The Tao of borrowing force. What kind of skill is that? If you're so capable, go borrow force too. Zhang Tao snorted. Serious double standards. In the past, when Fang Ping borrowed the system's strength, he would spare no effort to attack him. However, now, he did not care if you borrowed force or not. Being able to borrow force was a skill. Fang Ping was speechless. He rolled his eyes. Double standards, guy. Give that thing to old Wang, and the rest as soon as possible. Fang Ping said. Old Zhang had converted a lot of force and consumed a lot. Fang Ping was holding the body of the system now. He could feel the loss of force. Old Zhang said reluctantly, what if I use it again? I think it'll be easy to lose balance if I take it away now. Fang Ping could not be bothered with him. Lose balance? Unless there was another major breakthrough, it would be difficult to have an imbalance. The huge gap had been smoothed out. At this moment, unless Fang Ping and Zhang Tao had another major breakthrough in one of the paths and widened the gap, there was almost no danger of losing balance. Zhang Tao sighed at the sight, his face full of sorrow. The protagonist's life did not last much longer. If the system flew away, would he not be considered a protagonist anymore? Thinking about it, he still sent a voice transmission. Do you want to borrow Senior Book Fragrance for a while? Book Fragrance recognized the human race and the martial king. That was why he had this breakthrough. Moreover, Book Fragrance was very strong. Of course, his strength lay in his vitality. Book Fragrance's vitality might not be lower than 50 million calories. As for mentality, it should have completed a qualitative change. However, it might not improve much in the future. Moreover, a part of Book Fragrance's 50 million calories was also provided by the origin. It was not the real 50 million. Once converted, it might be weakened. No matter what, old Zhang felt that if Book Fragrance used this conversion, his combat strength might not double, but it might reach 70 million. At that time, Book Fragrance would be much stronger than now. Fang Ping frowned slightly, glancing at Book Fragrance not far away. This thing belonged to Heavenly Emperor Zhan. Heavenly Emperor Zhan was Book Fragrance's owner. Book Fragrance also recognized the human race now. Old Zhang could even borrow power from him. It was not impossible to lend it to him. However, Fang Ping felt that the power stored by the three emperors might not be much. He used it every day. Old Zhang also used a lot this time. How much would be left? There were many people around him who needed to use this now. Old Wang and the rest all needed it. Fang Ping was a little conflicted. Old Zhang thought for a while and sent a voice transmission. Why don't we let Wang Jinyang and the rest try it? If there's still some left, how about we lend it to Senior Book Fragrance? As he said that, he added, since Heavenly Emperor Zhan left this behind, I'm afraid the power stored will not be little. Even if it's really used up, we can actually think of a way to recharge it. Fang Ping thought for a while and nodded slightly. All right, if there's really some left, then let Senior Book Fragrance try it. Zhang Tao laughed and did not elaborate further. He turned his head and started chatting with Book Fragrance. This was the first emperor who recognized him. He was still very happy. This meant that his ideals had been recognized by the world's top powerhouses. They were even willing to follow his ideals. This was very rare. Both of them were chatting happily. Fang Ping did not have the time to accompany them. The sky was already dark. According to the plan, they would enter the source the day after tomorrow. There was only one day left. Zhang Tao's breakthrough earlier had actually helped Fang Ping a little. At least Fang Ping's source world had old Zhang. Unfortunately, he still could not help Fang Ping break through the source world's limit of 10,000 meters. It was still a little short. If the source world did not exceed 10,000 meters, Fang Ping still felt a little uncertain. This time, he was too worried. This time, the emperor took the initiative to invite him. He could not pin all his hopes on them not making a move. Even if they made a move, his side also had the ability to resist. This was the result Fang Ping wanted. 10,000 meters, just a little more. Fang Ping still had a lot of starstones in his hands. He did not know if forcefully absorbing them would allow the source to continue breaking through. In fact, the effect would be better if he absorbed them after breaking through. But Fang Ping was a little impatient. He wanted to enter the source with stronger strength that exceeded everyone's expectations. The emperor and the others' current judgment of Fang Ping's strength was probably based on the strength that suppressed Spirit Emperor previously. In everyone's eyes, Fang Ping had almost no trump cards to speak of. He was not mysterious, nor was he complicated. His vitality outburst was about 90 million calories. This was Fang Ping. His combat technique was simple. The main thing was the Chaos Vanquishing Saber technique. His weapon was also simple, the Chaos Vanquishing Saber. Everything about Fang Ping was seen by the others. 90 million calories was very powerful. It surpassed those old emperors, but compared to those who broke through 100 million, there was still a big gap. Although it did not seem far from breaking through 100 million, it was extremely difficult to do so. Fang Ping suspected that after breaking through 100 million, the difference between the upper and lower tens of millions of cal might be able to match the difference between him and breaking 9. How do I break through 10,000 meters of origin? Fang Ping was conflicted. If he wanted to improve his strength now, the first was true blood, and the second was the expansion of origin. True blood could help him complete 100% honing of jade bones, and origin could help him complete 10,000 meters of transformation. If I absorb all the starstones, maybe I can, but starstones are hard to come by. Those that Sun God gave me, plus those that Emperor Qin Fengqing sent over. If I really use them all, Fang Ping's head hurt. He actually wanted to use them after breaking through this checkpoint. There were too few of them. If he used them after breaking through the checkpoint, he might be able to quickly expand a large piece of territory. At this moment, Fang Ping's eyes flickered slightly. Merging the city, merging the dojo. Back in the mystic realm, North Emperor's projection had told him that he could go to North Palace and choose to merge with it. That place was his dojo, and it was very powerful. After merging, the effect might be stronger than merging with Magic City. However, North Emperor had changed. He was no longer the North Emperor. Now, North Emperor did not even care about his own daughter. How could he merge with North Palace? Without North Palace, Fang Ping had something else. Dojo, Combat Heavenly Palace. Fang Ping's eyes flickered suddenly. This was Heavenly Emperor Zhan's dojo, much stronger than North Emperor. Combat Heavenly Palace was actually considered a dojo, but Fang Ping had always ignored it. Other people's dojos were a large territory, but Combat Heavenly Palace was only a small palace. I have to get Zhan's approval. Fang Ping suddenly laughed. Did Jean approve of him? He was Jean's backup plan. Could he not approve? Moreover, old Wang, Jean's reincarnation, had given Combat Heavenly Palace to him a long time ago. He had never thought of merging Combat Heavenly Palace, because Combat Heavenly Palace looked too ordinary. If he had not used it when he was looking for the system previously, Fong Ping would have really forgotten about Combat Heavenly Palace. If I, the owner, have forgotten, others might have forgotten too. I can't find the seed. I can't obtain true blood. And those emperors probably know how many cities I've merged. They probably also guessed that I won't have a big breakthrough in the near future. Fong Ping's gaze was strange, and he suddenly laughed secretly. This time, he really had to get some trump cards. He would secretly merge Combat Heavenly Palace, expand the origin to 10,000 meters, absorb those star stones, and quickly strengthen the origin. Fong Ping could not wait now. Previously, he had forgotten about this. He had forgotten about Combat Heavenly Palace. Now that he suddenly remembered, how could he be willing to waste time? Magic City. Old Wang had just stepped out of the door when the void shattered with a crash. Fong Ping grabbed him and disappeared. Behind them, Zhang Taogang and Xu Xiang came together. Seeing this, they felt a little strange. What was this guy doing with Wang Jinyang? Xu Xiang also glanced at the direction where Wang Jinyang and Fong Ping had left, smiled, and said softly, "Little Master and Kingman are very close." Old Zhang laughed. "That's true. Wang Jinyang is Fong Ping's martial arts enlightener." As he said that, he was slightly stunned. Old Zhang did not continue. Martial arts enlightener, Combat Heavenly Emperor's plan? It was really possible. His reincarnation was in Sun City. The master of the system that created it was in Sun City. The system had the power of Combat Heavenly Emperor. Fong Ping and Wang Jinyang were destined to come into contact. In that case, it did not seem surprising that Wang Jinyang was Fong Ping's martial arts enlightener. Old Zhang sighed in his heart and smiled. Combat Heavenly Emperor is a peerless figure. Xu Xiang was slightly shocked. Her gaze was a little complicated. She quickly said softly, "Master is the best in the three realms." Unfortunately, Xu Xiang shook her head slightly. Unfortunately, Master was too envied by the heavens. Seeing this, Old Zhang did not say much. Very quickly, he entered MCMAU with Xu Xiang and brought her to observe the world's #1 martial arts academy. In the shattered space, Old Wang looked at Fong Ping and asked curiously, "Why are you being so mysterious?" He even hid in the space rift. What was Fong Ping doing? This was no longer on Earth. It was in the depths of misery. Combat Heavenly Palace had appeared. Old Wang looked at Combat Heavenly Palace, then at Fong Ping. He still did not understand. Fong Ping grinned. "I want to merge with Combat's dojo. Don't talk nonsense. Enter Combat Heavenly Palace and pretend to be master. Pretend to be Combat Heavenly Emperor. Just think about me. Think about how good I am, how handsome I am, how powerful I am, how enthusiastic I am. In any case, the kind that worships me to the extreme. Under normal circumstances, worshipping me will be easier to gain recognition." Old Wang rolled his eyes, but quickly said, "Are you sure? Even if you can, Combat Heavenly Palace doesn't feel too powerful to me. It's just an ordinary divine weapon. Nonsense. What do you know?" Fong Ping said disdainfully, "This is Combat Heavenly Emperor's dojo. It can even discover the problem with the immortal source. Do you really think it's an ordinary divine weapon? I suspect that this thing is stronger than the chaos-vanquishing saber. Don't worry about this. Go in immediately. After you go in, do as I say. Acknowledge me, worship me. I'll see if I can succeed." After saying that, Fong Ping suddenly stuffed the front end of the system into his brain. Old Zhang had taken this thing off just now. Fang Ping was worried that he would lose balance during his breakthrough this time. It was better to use it first and see if he needed to balance his combat strength. Old Wang said helplessly, "It's not difficult to acknowledge you. Worship you, it's really difficult. Stop talking nonsense." Fang Ping said impatiently, "Am I not worthy of your worship? Look at me. My combat strength is about to break through 100 million. What about you? How much is that? You're even the reincarnation of combat heavenly emperor. You're just a weakling." Old Wang was speechless. This guy deserved to be beaten up by Old Zhang. Unfortunately, Old Zhang had just broken through 9. Even if his combat strength had skyrocketed after balancing, this bastard Fang Ping might increase again this time. If that happened, Old Zhang might not have a chance to deal with him. No wonder this guy was so savage. Then I'll try my best. If it doesn't work, don't blame me. Fang Ping said indifferently, "Whatever. It's related to the survival of billions of humans anyway. I can't do anything if you don't worship me. So be it. If you worship me, I might have a chance to break through. When that time comes, I can save billions of humans. All right, stop putting such a big hat on me." Old Wang was really helpless. What else could he say when he had said that? Old Wang stepped into the air and entered the combat heavenly palace. He did not do anything. He sat cross-legged and began to recall the scenes in his heart. Everything about Fang Ping. From the first time they met in Sun City, Fang Ping was ignorant and immature when they first met. On the eve of the martial arts university entrance examination, Fang Ping made a choice. He rejected his invitation and chose MCMAU. From the first time they entered the catacombs together, to the martial arts university championship, to the battle in Tiannan, Fang Ping risked his life to help him find a teacher. Fang Ping became stronger and stronger. Fang Ping became more and more lonely. The Devil King Fang Ping. Was Fang Ping worthy of worship? Even if Wang Jinyang knew about the existence of the system and knew that everything came from battles, he still felt that he was worthy of worship. It was not only the system that made Fang Ping who he was today. The system only provided energy. As for energy, it depended on who used it and how it was used. Some people did not lack energy. Did the celestial emperor lack it? Did the young spirit lack it? Did the seeds lack it? But they did not cultivate a second Fang Ping. He could not forget the pain Fang Ping suffered when he was attacked in Sun City. Fang Ping was in so much pain, yet this fellow still looked for him with a cheeky face to freeload his imperishable substance. He could not forget that outside the void, Mausoleum Grotto Heaven, Fang Ping was affected by the battle. His flesh was broken, and only his bones were left, as tough as when he was pretending to be an ancient powerhouse. At that point, he did not have the slightest intention of giving up. In the end, he won everything. Even Wang Jinyang felt hopeless that day. But in the end, his teacher was saved. Fang Ping also obtained an incomparably huge reward and helped humanity win the battle in Tiannan. He could not forget the scene when this fellow went to the Nanjiang catacombs when he was weak. He brought Li Changsheng, who had turned into a lump of meat, and risked his life to enter the city to steal life essence. He was affectionate and loyal. In other people's eyes, Fang Ping was a devil, an executioner, a hero, a king. In his eyes, Fang Ping was a gangster who loved to take advantage of others. After taking advantage of them, he would repay them with a gushing spring. How much did Li Changsheng give Fang Ping? Actually, not much. Before the outbreak of the Nanjiang battle, Li Changsheng helped Fang Ping, but not too much. It was not to the point where Fang Ping would repay him with his life. But he did it. As a middle-ranked, he risked his life to enter the royal city, stole life essence, saved Li Changsheng, and had the longevity sword today. Miracle! This could not be explained by the system. The system was a dead object. Fang Ping was a living person. It was his own choice. He chose to save people, regardless of everything, regardless of the danger to his life. Was this Fang Ping worthy of respect? Yes. Wang Jinyang really admired him. Fang Ping was ruthless. He was ruthless to himself, to his enemies, but to his friends, he was not ruthless. He wished he could protect everyone so that not even a drop of water could leak out. He wished that everyone he knew would not die. Huang Jing died. Huang Jing was his dean and his teacher, but Huang Jing and Fang Ping had not reached the point where they would die together. Just like that, to avenge Huang Jing, Fang Ping did not hesitate to offend Zhang Tao. He mobilized the entire MCMAU, invited heroes to help MCMAU conquered Magic City, and won that crucial battle. Lu Fengru, his teacher, used a few credits to give Fang Ping a mission that was almost impossible to complete. Kill the Lord of Skygate City. Rank 9. At that time, Fang Ping did not even know what the catacombs were. He accepted the mission, saying that he would not do it. In the end, Skygate City was destroyed, and the Lord of Skygate City was killed. It was all Fang Ping's plan. He gathered heroes to help him win this battle and avenge Wu Quishan and Lu Fengru's daughter. He always remembered everything about others in his heart. He could not bear for his sister to participate in the battle, could not bear for his parents to worry, could not bear for his brothers to risk their lives, could not bear for his friends to die. Only he, this cowardly fellow, seemed to have never thought that he would die one day. He was also human, but he was doing the most dangerous mission. He was dealing with the most dangerous enemy. He was resisting the most terrifying opponent. These scenes emerged in his mind. Rising, Wang Jinyang felt some sympathy, some pity, and some indescribable sadness. His cheeky smile and invincible mouth were all Fang Ping's disguise. The Fang Ping, who loved money as much as his life was long gone. Love money. The him who loved money at that time. Would he risk the system being discovered and give all the loot to MCMAU, to the Education Ministry? Even if he hid it, not many people would know. Those who knew would not expose him. The IOUs that were sent out could also be collected. Fang Ping, Wang Jinyang looked at Fang Ping outside Heavenly Combat Palace and murmured, "You think that Heavenly Combat Emperor is powerful, that Martial King is respectable, that those heroes who died in battle are respectable, but, you are the real hero. You say that you are selfish, afraid of death, and forced to fight. But if that is really the case, why take risks again and again to become stronger, to lower your head, to die? You say that Ironhead is stupid, but you are the dumbest guy in the 3 realms." Fang Ping. A clear shout was heard. Fang Ping raised his head and looked at Wang Jinyang in Heavenly Combat Palace, a little puzzled. "What? You are an idiot. Idiot." Fang Ping rolled his eyes. "Why the F***CK? Are you scolding me?" "Ha ha ha." Old Wang laughed. "Idiot. The number 1 idiot in the 3 realms. Idiot became the biggest hero in the 3 realms. If not for the hero, Old Zhang, Heavenly King Garrison, me, Ironhead, these arrogant and unruly prodigies will not revolve around you. Heavenly King Garrison does not recognize Martial King. Qin Fengqin does not recognize Martial King. God Forging Envoy does not recognize Martial King. That is because you are not Martial King. If you are, they will recognize you, because you are the strongest." "Ha ha ha, Fuse, idiot." Fang Ping rolled his eyes again. "This guy deserves a beating. How dare he scold me? Did I give you face? Idiot." But in the next moment, Fang Ping was dumbfounded. With a rumble, in the source world, a huge palace appeared. So smooth, too smooth. Rumble. There seemed to be someone on Heavenly Combat Palace. Old Wang, Heavenly Combat Emperor? Fang Ping did not know. Previously, he did not fuse with Old Wang and the others. It was strange. Why did this guy come in this time? Rumble. Heaven and earth trembled. The entire source world shook violently. The rumbling sounds were endless. In the next moment, the source world expanded rapidly. The sky was high, the ground was thick, and the world became bigger. Fang Ping was shocked. The expansion was so fast. The key was, why was it so simple? Also, although Old Wang in Heavenly Combat Palace was an illusion, why was he looking at him with a lascivious expression? What was this guy trying to do? How disgusting! Fang Ping shuddered. Old Wang must be crazy. 9 Heavens Divine Emperor. Chapter 1458. The source world quickly grew stronger. Fang Ping did not lack origin soil. He could fill it up quickly. However, Fang Ping did not stop there. Since he had broken through the checkpoint, the starstones would be useful again. The starstone given to him by the Yang god had not been used up yet. Fang Ping continued absorbing the starstones. Soon, the origin continued to expand. As expected, as the checkpoint was broken, the problem of the origin's expansion was solved. As Fang Ping devoured the starstones, the origin continued to expand. In front of him, Old Wang watched Fang Ping's aura fluctuate. He was a little worried, a little relieved, and a little melancholic. This fellow had become stronger again. Becoming stronger also meant more danger. Based on Fang Ping's personality, once he became stronger, he would not keep a low profile anymore. Sooner or later, he would look for Monarch to attack. The Beast Emperor and the North Emperor that he had decided on previously might not be able to satisfy Fang Ping. Fang Ping had been sitting cross-legged and cultivating all this while. Old Wang was also waiting quietly until the sky turned dark. Fang Ping opened his eyes abruptly. At this moment, Lao Wang could sense his joy and arrogance. Vitality, 0, 40 million calories. Mind, 0, 400,000 hertz. Force, for 1,000 raw, 80 million calories vitality. Jade bones, 99% with qualitative change of chi and blood. Source world, 12,000 meters battle technique. Chaos vanquishing saber technique, plus 20%. Strength control, 100% plus 20%. Vitality limit, 112 million cal from the original 62 million calories foundation to the current 80 million calories. This time, the source world's expansion had increased Fang Ping's base by more than 20%. On top of that, the increase of 2,000 meters was not too great. Altogether, it was not as much as the breakthrough of the 10,000-meter bottleneck. His strength had exceeded 100 million. At that moment, Fang Ping felt like he was brimming with energy. The human sovereign and earthly sovereign are about the same as me. Fang Ping made a judgment in his heart. Even if the two of them had exceeded 100 million, even if their vitality was slightly stronger than his, it did not matter. After breaking 100 million, Fang Ping felt completely different. In terms of combat strength, the difference between breaking 100 million and not breaking 100 million might only be 10 million cal. However, it was not the feeling of a qualitative change in one's vitality. Instead, it was as if one's understanding of the world was different. Fang Ping sensed the changes in his strength, the strengthening of his physique, the strengthening of his vitality. This kind of change seemed to sublimate his entire being, allowing his life to reach a higher level. Jade bones and jade body seemed to have become even stronger. Although it was still 99% jade bones, Fang Ping could feel the change. If it was 99% before, it might be 99. 9% now. When Lao Wang saw him open his eyes, he stepped down from the sky and scanned him for a while as if he was examining him. He smiled and said, "How is it?" Very strong. Fang Ping grinned. Of course, I haven't become the strongest in the three realms, but I've broken through the bottleneck. I can continue to become stronger, and I'm even closer to breaking through the second bottleneck. The second bottleneck was jade bones. Fang Ping guessed that if jade bones reached 100%, it would be the same as his strength. Perhaps it would be strengthened by another 20% or so. At his level, a 20% increase was already terrifying. That was an increase of tens of millions of cal. By then, Fang Ping's combat strength might be close to that of the Emperor God and the Celestial Emperor. Of course, it was more likely that Emperor East would be his. Emperor Heaven reverse, and the Emperor God's strengths were still unclear. If he forged with jade bones and approached Dong Huang, Fang Ping's origin could still continue to expand. If it was replaced with true blood, it might become even more powerful. Fang Ping's eyes were shining. He smiled and said, "This time, do you think we should do something even bigger?" Lao Wang frowned slightly. "Can you fight against the Heavenly Emperor and the others?" "Probably not." Fang Ping knew that there was still a gap between him and them, but he smiled and said, "But I can still improve." "They can't. They have already reached their limit, but I haven't." Lao Wang said in a low voice, "Don't take the risk. I think it's better if you hide your strength. The Beast Emperor and the North Emperor are chess pieces they threw out. Both sides might want them to die. If you eat this bait, they might not care too much. But if you eat the human emperor or the earthly emperor, then it's different. When that time comes, you will have the ability to threaten them. Back then, the earthly emperor was killed by the other emperors. All these years, the human emperor has been suppressed. Even the Emperor God and the Heavenly Emperor and the earthly emperor pay special attention to them. This means that they are actually different from the Beast Emperor and the others. Be careful not to set yourself on fire. It's better to take the opportunity now to weaken their strength and build up strength in secret." Fang Ping nodded slightly. "What you said makes sense. That's why the goal this time is still to eat these two abandoned emperors. It's better to be safe than sorry. If someone else intervenes, then there's nothing I can do." He increased his strength this time to deal with the upcoming situation more steadily. As for whether he would be forced to expose his strength, Fang Ping did not know. If those people had other plans, they might be exposed. Fang Ping knew in his heart that even if the Divine Emperor and Emperor Reverse Heaven were really scheming something, including the Celestial Emperor who might want him to be the scavenger, this scavenger must not be out of their control. This also meant that Fang Ping must not have the strength to threaten them. Fang Ping might not be able to, but he had many powerhouses around him. Heavenly King Suppression, Scholar, the three emperors reincarnated, King Wu. Fang Ping had too many helpers. With so many powerhouses around, even if one person could not pose a threat to them, if they joined forces, there would be trouble. Weaken the number of powerhouses around me. This was Fang Ping's prediction. Those people might need his saber, but they did not want this saber to hurt themselves. The saber could not be moved, but the others could. Fang Ping took a deep breath, looked at Lao Wang, and said, "You and Ironhead, be careful. Don't easily expose the location of your Tao. Unless it's necessary, don't open the passageway. Unless I ask you to, don't worry." Also, Fang Ping paused and said, "There might be trouble this time, and some people might die, but as long as I don't ask you to open the Tao, you must not open it. Even if you open the Tao, there's hope for them to survive." "Huh." Lao Wang's eyes flickered. "You mean it's better to be safe than sorry? Those people are not stupid. If I help them clear out the small fries, then they have to help me sort out the branches." Lao Wang fell into silence. After a while, he said, "Are you really not going to save them?" Fang Ping laughed. "This might not happen, but if it does, Then listen to me. I'll inform you if you open the Tao or not. Okay. Lao Wang did not say anything else. However, this time, it might not be simple. On the human side, there were indeed too many collaborators. Even if there were not more than 100 million of them, once they became emperors, they would not be weak no matter how weak they were. Previously, the god emperor fought against 9 alone because the few of them did not fight to the death. If they really fought to the death, the god emperor might not be able to hold on. When Fang Ping returned again, the sky was already dark. This was already the agreed time to enter the source. In the source, separated by heaven and earth, darkness, silence, and coldness were the theme of the source. This place was a cage and a prison where the invincible powerhouses of the 3 realms were imprisoned, 36 levels of heaven. The god emperor looked down at the chessboard and said to himself, if he really came, this should be the time. Who do you think he will target? Beast. Emperor Celestial Reverse grinned. Beast is a little weaker. Also, it's good that Beast is dead, in case the source is repaired after Heavenly Wood testifies. Heavenly Wood testifies. The god emperor looked up at him and smiled. When the heavenly realm was broken, you went to see Heavenly Wood. What's your plan? Nothing. Heavenly Wood is too weak. It was just a random move. Emperor Celestial Reverse grinned. If Heavenly Wood really succeeds, that person will be happy to see it. The god emperor nodded and asked no more questions. Heavenly Wood testifying could also repair some cracks. If the Beast King was alive, the effect would be better. If the Beast King was dead, the effect would be less. But if the Beast King was dead, someone else might be able to testify. For example, the Monster Emperor. The god emperor grinned. He darted a glance at Emperor Celestial Reverse. Did he have any plans for the Monster Emperor? He should have some. The god emperor kept playing. After a while, he suddenly said, I think he is here. Emperor Celestial Reverse looked up and grinned. Everything is under your control. Control? The god emperor said in a self-deprecating tone. Accidents are everywhere in the 3 realms. How can I control it? I am just pushing the boat with the current. If one day you and I are being punished by Fang Ping, it will not be an accident. Emperor Celestial Reverse said softly. This time, he killed the beast. It will be fine if the fruit of Tao is not broken. But if the fruit of Tao is broken, that person will not forgive him. That's his business. The god emperor said indifferently, he must have guessed it. Let's see if he is greedy or not. If he is greedy, the fruit of Tao is broken. If he is not greedy, he can kill the beast and leave. Nobody will come to the source to trouble him. But he is a greedy guy. Emperor Celestial Reverse laughed. He will not let it go. Also, if the Tao of the 3 emperors appears, that person will not let it go. Now is not the time to cut off the Tao. If the Tao of the 3 emperors appears, then you and I will stop it. Okay, Emperor Celestial Reverse answered and continued playing. Players? Perhaps it was. Everyone was using Fang Ping as the chess pieces, the core. They were crisscrossing on the chessboard. Who could guarantee who would have the last laugh? Or if the chess pieces would overturn the chessboard, including that carefree young spirit. What was he thinking? The human world, Sun City. In the space crack, the Yang spirit was sleeping on the beach, basking in the sun. Suddenly, the Yang spirit opened its eyes and grinned. Interesting. You dare to come to me? The next moment, the Yang spirit disappeared. When it reappeared, it was in darkness. It seemed to be in a different dimension. It was not a space crack, but a world similar to the source universe. It was dark in this world. However, at the end of the darkness, there was a seed glowing faintly. It lit up the void nearby. The seed did not escape. A surge of energy came from it. The power came from me. It's time to return it. Return it to your mother. The Yang spirit sneered. You are a perpetual motion machine. What are you so arrogant about? Didn't I cultivate? You should be a dead thing. Why do you have to pretend? According to you, the 3 realms should be destroyed. Not only the 3 realms, but also your new world. If someone breaks the taboo, shouldn't it be destroyed too? Return the power. The seed's energy fluctuation came again. Return my ass. The Yang spirit tore apart the starry sky with its bare hands. It appeared near the seed in an instant. The next moment, it turned around and left. You want me to hit you? Dream on. I won't hit you. Let's see what you can do. Boom. At this moment, a strong suction force came. The Yang spirit's expression changed slightly. Its energy fluctuated. It said coldly, you couldn't attack me before. Now, that fist desolation, and the others are dead, you seem to have unlocked some of the power seals. The Yang spirit exhaled. It seems that as more and more beginner martial artists die, the more power you take back, the loosening of some rules. He guessed a little. As the first generation of beginner martial artists died, one after another, the power returned to the seed. The seed might have unlocked some of the rules. Once the 3 realms was really destroyed and the beginner martial artist died, this guy might completely break through everything and become the only master of the 3 realms again. You suddenly came to provoke me for no reason. Why aren't you leaving? What do you want? The Yang spirit was not nervous. It laughed and said, what good will it do you to trap me? Do you want to invite me to be a guest in your body? Return the power. I will give you the power to control the new world again. At this moment, the seed fluctuated again. The next moment, the seed suddenly became transparent, and a virtual world appeared in its body. In this world, there is no martial arts, no Taoism, no immortals, no demons. You come, control, create, and be free. The Yang spirit raised its eyebrows and said with a smile, bribe me? It sounds good, but if it's true, I'm so powerful, and I have no opponent. Won't I die of loneliness? You can open the way again. At this time, the seed suddenly said something. The Yang spirit raised its eyebrows. Open the way again. The seed created a world without martial arts so that it would not get out of control again. Open the way again. Soon it understood. It raised its eyebrows and said, back then you were not mature enough to let your power go out of control and let the strong lose control. It seems that now that you have matured, if you open the way again, I'm afraid that this time it will be completely controlled by you. Just like what that kid said. You gave me the Fate Jade Plate, and I became a Tao ancestor. In the end, I will still be controlled by the heavenly Tao, right? He understood. The seed didn't care about martial arts, but about the threat. Now, its Yang spirit was not limited by the seed and was not threatened by it. Even if the celestial emperor entered the source and the pit, he was actually not too restricted by the seed. If he really gave up the source completely, the celestial emperor might not die. Such a strong person could not be controlled. The new world could be open again, but at that time, it would be at the mercy of others. I love peace, but I love freedom even more. The Yang spirit suddenly laughed and said, I don't want to be that puppet. You go to the celestial emperor. He might be interested, but I'm not. Heavens, he agreed. At this moment, the seed fluctuated again. But I like you more. The Yang spirit bared its teeth and said, there's no need. Is there? I don't love you. I just want to eat you. He is ambitious. He was too ambitious. The celestial emperor cared more about those things than the Yang spirit. The Yang spirit was safer. You sold that guy just like that. The Yang spirit narrowed its eyes and said with a smile, that guy is not weak either. Be careful. I will join forces with him and kill you together. No, he will kill you. The seed fluctuated again, and its voice was vast. You are his enemy. Me. The young spirit raised its eyebrows and said with a smile, I just want to bask in the sun quietly. Why do you have to make trouble for me? How about this? You can do whatever you want. Don't worry about me. Let me play in the world and live until the day I die. As for whether I stay in the three realms or the new world, I don't care. What do you think? I won't make trouble. I'm very easy to talk to. The seed didn't say anything. The young spirit sighed and said, You guys have too many schemes and tricks. How uncute. You fat baby, tens of thousands of years ago, you were quite cute and as fun as that stupid cat. Unfortunately, when you grow up and mature, you are not fun anymore. Why don't I destroy your intelligence and make you fun again? Boom. A powerful suction force came again. The young spirit snorted and shook its body. The entire unknown universe was trembling. It's just a small trick. I won't beat you up today. Kill me if you can. The seed ignored it and circled around him at the speed of light. A strong wave of energy spread out in all directions. The young spirit's expression changed slightly. You want to trap me? You can't leave. The seed's voice was cold. When the three realms are destroyed, you won't survive. Ha! The young spirit sneered and ignored it. It quickly broke out of the encirclement. Boom! A wall appeared in front of it. The young spirit punched and broke it. The next moment, countless energy barriers appeared in all directions. It was shockingly powerful. Now you've trapped me. Do you really think you've won? The young spirit snorted. Let's see how strong you are. Maintain the new world, the three realms, and the source. Let's see how long you can last. As soon as it finished speaking, the young spirit punched again and again. The entire universe was trembling violently. In this universe, there was no third party who could watch the battle except for them. The seed ignored it and continued to set up layers of energy light shields. The young spirit was like a cocoon. At this moment, it was surrounded by countless silk trying to trap it inside. Source. Inside the vitality seed. Fong Ping, who had been here last time, entered again. Other than him, old Zhang and the cat were also here. Fong Ping glanced and stared at the place where he found Zhang Tao's vitality path last time. It was gone now. It seemed to have dissipated. However, this place still controlled a large number of vitality martial artists' das. Fong Ping laughed. At this time, he was extremely powerful. After a quick sweep, he found many familiar people's vitality paths. Fong Ping was too lazy to talk nonsense. His mentality shook. Rumble! A series of booming sounds came from a few paths. The vitality virtual gate was broken. There were Li Zhan's warlords. As long as these people's das reached this point, they could break the gate directly. Last time, their mentality gate was broken. This time, their vitality gate was broken. They were unimpeded all the way. If they were lucky, they would soon reach the point of breaking the 82 gates. Do you want to destroy this? Old Zhang asked. This vitality seed still controlled many das. If it was not destroyed, once it was used by others, it might cause these people to die, with their das broken. No, hurry! Now that it was destroyed, the commotion was not small. Fong Ping glanced at the sky, raised his eyebrows slightly, looked at the cat, and said, Was it this place last time? The cat also stretched its head out to take a look, a little confused. After a while it said, I'm not sure. The environment of the source was similar. Whether it was here last time or not, it was also a little uncertain. As for Fong Ping, he looked again and smiled. It might not be the place last time, but near the Beast Emperor or North King's territory. As he said that, Fong Ping exhaled. Since someone wants to help us, then let's help him. The owner of this kind of thing seems to deliberately pretend not to see us. So let's ignore him. Old Zhang nodded slightly and said quickly, then let's go find the Beast Emperor. Heavenly King subduing, and the others have already made arrangements. Once the battle starts, they will immediately approach the area where North King is, entangle him, and stop other people who might make trouble. Okay. Fang Ping responded and smiled. Let's go out and take a look. Everyone, be careful. Meow. The cat responded. Old Zhang sneered. I'm not weaker than you. You should be more careful. You. Fang Ping snorted. What were you bragging about? 1 against 10. Both of them did not waste any more words and quickly walked out of the vitality seed. Fang Ping was not in a hurry to destroy this thing. It would not be too late to destroy it after killing the Beast Emperor, in case the Beast Emperor found out in advance. The Beast Emperor was in the 6th heaven. Fang Ping did not know which heaven this was. He would know after going out and taking a look. According to the previous arrangement, the Emperor of Heaven Reverse was in charge of the 7th heaven. However, the Emperor of Heaven Reverse was in charge of the territory that belonged to him. The 7th heaven would only be left with some battle force, not his real body. The 6th heaven, in the darkness, an incomparably huge dragon was circling in the central area. At this moment, the Beast Emperor's huge eyes were wide open, extremely vigilant. The 3 realms was no longer safe. The source was no longer safe. It was dangerous. It was also very frightening, including him, the ancient emperor, the emperor of the demon race. At the edge of the 6th heaven, a shadow appeared as if it had been here for a long time. The Beast Emperor seemed to know of this person's existence. His mentality fluctuated. Xian Qiong still doesn't want to show up. Yes, damn it, the Beast Emperor bellowed and transmitted his voice. He has given up on us. If not, go to the Celestial Emperor. The fruits are controlled by the Celestial Emperor. Qiong can no longer be trusted. North King's shadow transmitted. The fruits are controlled. Our lives are in the hands of a single thought. We can't care about that anymore. The Beast Emperor said angrily. Qiong suddenly returned to the 36th heaven and will no longer participate in the matters of the source. When Desolation was killed last time, it was all bark and no bite. Those people in the town were all there, but he did not do anything. The Beast Emperor was furious. He said quickly, you and I need to work together to kill the 2 emperors and escape from this cage. The fruits are hidden. As long as our real bodies are not dead, they cannot find the fruits. This was also the safest way at the moment. The 3 realms was getting stranger and stranger. The 2 emperors sensed the danger. Kill who? North King said gloomily, it will be very difficult. We have to do it, even if it is difficult. Hong Kuan, Qin Fengqing, Tengu, these people are all new emperors. Although Xu Xiang is not weak, she can also be killed. Once she is killed, it will be enough for us to fill in the gaps and leave this place. North King was silent for a moment. It is very dangerous. Even if we escape the source, it may not be safe outside. Maybe it is time to talk to the Celestial Emperor, hand over the fruits, and let him control them. The Beast Emperor was silent. He was the one who suggested it before, but it was difficult for him to accept it. If the fruits were controlled by the Celestial Emperor, then their lives would be in the hands of the Celestial Emperor. Even if the Celestial Emperor controlled the source, he could not find their fruits unless he killed their real bodies. But the Celestial Emperor would not make a move now. The man and the dragon fell into silence. The next moment, North King's shadow trembled slightly. Oh no, it seems that someone broke into my territory. Ha! The Beast Emperor was slightly shocked. Be careful. If necessary, I will rush over immediately. Help each other. This was what the two emperors agreed on. At this moment, someone suddenly broke into North King's territory. The Beast Emperor was also worried that something would happen to North King. If something happened, the fox would grieve for the rabbit. He was afraid that he would become the next Emperor Nan. North King's shadow trembled. I will go back first. Be careful. The Three Realms is no longer peaceful. If anything happens, I will rush over immediately. Okay. The Beast Emperor waited for the shadow to dissipate and raised his vigilance again. Chapter 1459. Have Heavenly King and the rest left? Not yet. In the darkness, Fang Ping asked telepathically, and Old Zhang replied. They communicated through the mentality jade pendant. If they left, they would be notified. Fang Ping frowned slightly. Right now, they were lurking in the fifth heaven. The vitality seed was also in the fifth heaven. It was not that there was no one in this heaven. Someone had confirmed that there was someone in this heaven. However, the owner of this heaven did not know that Fang Ping and the others walked out of the vitality seed. The owner of this place was none other than Li Zhu, suppressed by Dong Huang. Fang Ping felt a little strange. Soon, he sneered and said telepathically, Heavenly King and the rest haven't left yet, but North King seems to be in trouble. It was not caused by Heavenly King. They did not see North King at Beast Emperor's side, but they saw the world where North King was trembling slightly. They did not know if someone had broken in. Was this telling them not to go to North King and focus on killing Beast Emperor? This time, the bait was Beast Emperor. Only Beast Emperor needed to be cleaned up. North King did not seem to have been abandoned yet. Old Zhang, who do you think is helping us hold North King back? Dong Huang, Emperor, Earthly Emperor, it's all possible. Old Zhang also sneered and transmitted his voice. None of these emperors are good people. Fang Ping frowned slightly. Emperors were bad. However, these guys wanted him to kill Beast Emperor just to give him bait. Demon Emperor Path, Fang Ping murmured in his heart. Did these guys have this intention? After killing Beast Emperor, Demon Emperor Path would be empty. Would these guys want people to walk the complete Demon Emperor path? Monster Emperor, Heavenly Wood. Fang Ping thought of these too. If we kill Beast Emperor, maybe those guys will let us get lost. Fang Ping murmured, his eyes turning quickly. If we kill North King, these guys may let us continue to kill Beast Emperor. Give them a chance. Old Zhang looked at Fang Ping, frowned slightly, and said telepathically, killing Beast Emperor is safer. North King is not weak. Besides, there are still people over there. I don't know who they are. The North King might be able to escape, but the Beast Emperor won't be able to. The Heavenly King is in the third heaven, and we're right below him. The Beast Emperor is trapped in the middle, and there's nowhere for him to run. If we want to kill someone, we have to kill the North King first. Old Zhang could not dissuade him. After some consideration, he nodded. Then let's go there. But if Dong Huang and the others are there, we'll see. Fang Ping dived down stealthily as he said, when we enter their world, they will have some weak senses. But it's fine. Even if the Beast Emperor is vigilant, it's fine as long as we don't attack him now. The sixth heaven belonged to the Beast Emperor. The seventh heaven belonged to the deceased Emperor Nan. The eighth heaven belonged to the departed Emperor Shi. The ninth heaven was empty, and the 10th heaven belonged to the North Emperor. Below them was Emperor Ling. Spirit Emperor was not at the origin, but at the immortal origin, so there was no need to worry about the North Emperor receiving him. Let's go. Tell Heavenly King Crusader and the others to keep an eye on the Beast King. Fang Ping, Old Zhang, and the cat dived down quickly. Boom. The sixth heaven trembled slightly. On the other side, The Beast Emperor's body suddenly grew in size, and a powerful aura erupted from him. He was extremely vigilant. Even if it was only a slight tremble, he was still extremely vigilant. The Three Realms was not peaceful. Several powerful emperors seemed to be plotting something. Emperor Nen was dead. Emperor Shi had run away. And now he and the North Emperor were very worried that they would become the next victims. In the 8,000 years since the heavenly realm was broken, the Beast Emperor and the others had always felt that everything was under control. But since the fall of Emperor Nan, the few of them no longer had such confidence. Fang Ping had even suppressed Emperor Ling before, so they did not dare to be careless. The sixth heaven trembled for a moment, and then there was no movement. The Beast Emperor had been vigilant, even prepared to escape at any time. But unless it was absolutely necessary, these people did not want to leave the source. If they left the source, not only would their strength be suppressed, but they would also not be in the source. Once a strong enemy broke into the source and found their fruits, it would be troublesome. The seventh heaven, the eighth heaven. In the blink of an eye, Fang Ping and the others arrived at the eighth heaven. It was quiet here. Emperor Shi had seized Emperor Nan's fruit and repaired this place. Fang Ping glanced around and smiled. Big Cat, can you find Emperor Shi's fruit? The cat shook its head. If they are not dead, their strength will not return, and there is no movement in the fruit. It is almost impossible to find it. Unless one was really lucky, it would be as difficult as ascending to the heavens to find the fruit of a living sovereign realm cultivator. This was also the reason why not many people came to look for Emperor Shi after he ran away. If they did not kill Emperor Shi, it would be difficult to find him. Of course, if they really destroyed everything inch by inch, Emperor Shi's fruit could not be hidden. The key was that no one would do that at this time. The ninth heaven was just below. It was also an uninhabited place. Fang Ping and the others continued to dive. After a while, they looked at the barrier of the 10th heaven, a little hesitant. If they broke through, there would still be some movement. They did not know if North King would notice in advance. It was not a big deal if he noticed. The key was that there might be others inside. The movement here was not small. Go down. Fang Ping did not delay any longer. He quickly dived down, and the man and the cat followed quietly. The 10th heaven. North King looked at the shadow in the sky, frowned, and said coldly, "Since you are here, why hide your head and show your face?" The shadow laughed. "Even if I show my face, Xian, you will not believe me. It was just a projection, not the real body. It was not difficult to change one's appearance and not reveal one's aura." North King did not care. His eyes flickered. "If that's the case, then I don't care who you are. What do you want from me?" "Brother Xian, a disaster is imminent. Don't you know?" North King sneered. "A disaster is imminent because of you guys. What's the use of knowing? That's not true." The shadow laughed. "If you really want to live, then it is not impossible to save yourself. The fruit is your life-saving straw." "Humph," North King said coldly. "It's fine if I hand it to Celestial Emperor. If I hand it to someone else, I'm afraid they can't wait to destroy my Tao fruit. Do you really think I don't know? Qiong and the others have always wanted to restrain Celestial Emperor. If not, why would Hao not guard the immortal source but hand it over to Spirit? You are Celestial Emperor's man. He would not easily believe this person. This person's identity was unknown. He might be Celestial Emperor's man or even their projection. Of course, it could also be the projection of the God Emperor and the others." The shadow laughed. Words are no proof. At this moment, North King's heart moved. Someone else had entered this world. Who was it this time? The shadow was just a projection. This world did not belong to the shadow. The shadow did not care. He continued, I have Celestial Emperor's order. If you are willing to hand over the fruit, Celestial Emperor will deal with those people. Even if you die, he will revive you. Revive. North King seemed to have heard a joke. He said coldly, They are all dead. The fruit is in your hands. Who dares to take it seriously? Moreover, if Celestial Emperor wants to talk, then let him come. You are not qualified to represent Celestial Emperor. You are not qualified to make me hand over the fruit. Celestial Emperor wants to come personally, but those people have been watching him for many years. Cheong is now guarding the 36 heavens. He is not guarding against the chaos of the Source Land, but Celestial Emperor. He should be suppressing Celestial Emperor. Brother Xian should know Cheong's goal. If not, there is no need for others to do it. In the Source Land, the first heaven was above. The 36 heavens were below, and Celestial Emperor was at the bottom. Therefore, the God Emperor suppressing his Source Land was also suppressing Celestial Emperor. North King's eyes flickered. Who are you? How? Or gee, is it that important? The Phantom laughed. As long as Brother Xian agrees, Celestial Emperor can guarantee your safety. Ha! North King sneered. You don't even dare to show your real body. How can I trust you so easily? Showing my real body will cause too much commotion. Moreover, I am worried that Brother Xian will misunderstand. As he said that, the Phantom suddenly said, Brother Xian, please make a decision as soon as possible. Fong Ping and the others have already sneaked into the Source Land. This time, Beast may be used as a sacrifice in the battle between Celestial Emperor and Cheong. North King was shocked. Fong Ping and the others sneaked into the Source Land again. This person knew, but did not stop them. Even the God Emperor and the others might know, but did not stop them. North King's heart turned cold. He said coldly, What a good coercion and temptation. I am afraid you let them in on purpose to force me and Cheong to hand over the fruit. Fong Ping's existence was not only a scavenger, but also a deterrent. He was a guy who did not care about right or wrong. He would kill the emperor whenever he got the chance. Using Fong Ping to deter them was better than using the God Emperor. If he handed over the fruit, these people would help. North King snorted coldly. Then his eyes flickered. You guys are really good at killing with a borrowed knife. It's not impossible for me to hand over the fruit. As he said that, North King said coldly, First, show your real body. Second, let Celestial Emperor's projection descend. Is this necessary? The Phantom laughed. Celestial Emperor's projection descend. As long as you agree, Celestial Emperor will naturally appear. As for my real body, there is no need to appear. Then I am not at ease. I also want to see who Celestial Emperor has roped in. I want to see if they can match Cheong and the others. Otherwise, even if it is Celestial Emperor, I dare not believe that he can win. The Phantom laughed. Brother Xian is really... Humph! North King snorted. Otherwise, I will not believe your sincerity. I also want to see how Celestial Emperor will treat us. The Phantom fell into deep thought. It was a little strange about North King's request, since he had already said that if you agree, Celestial Emperor will descend to take the fruit. Why do you need to show your real body? What was Xian thinking? What was North King thinking? North King did not think much. At this moment, North King was communicating with the Phantom while his mentality swept the surroundings. His mentality trembled slightly. I am welcoming Celestial Emperor's envoy. Celestial Emperor will descend to this sky at any time, and the envoy will also descend in his real body. Your schemes have nothing to do with me. I only hope that it will not affect this sky. He sensed that someone was coming, but he did not know who it was. But someone must have come. At this moment, he needed to use powerhouses like Celestial Emperor to deter them. It did not matter whether the person who came was from the Divine Emperor's side, or Fong Ping's side. Celestial Emperor would descend at any time. Of course, the premise was that this envoy was real. Celestial Emperor really intended to use the fruit to control them. In North King's opinion, if it was a real envoy, it was actually a good thing. He had been thinking about this matter previously. The key was to see what Celestial Emperor thought. Whether he only wanted the fruit or wanted the fruit and the Emperor's real body together. These two were not different. One was that it did not matter if his real body died, as long as the fruit was there. The other was that he wanted both. North King naturally had his own plans to make this person reveal his real body. If it was really Celestial Emperor's people, and he promised to hand over the fruit, Celestial Emperor might come and take the fruit, but Celestial Emperor might not care about his life. At that time, the Divine Emperor and the others would not let him go easily. If Celestial Emperor took the fruit, he might not care about his life. But if this Celestial Emperor envoy also revealed his real body, at that time, Celestial Emperor would also have to give up on this person. And this person, no matter who it was, as long as it was not a Beast Emperor, the possibility of Celestial Emperor giving up on him was very small. The other emperors were all powerhouses. If Celestial Emperor really wanted to give up on powerhouses, he would be digging his own grave. In the darkness, Fong Ping and the others also heard North King's voice. Celestial Emperor's envoy? Fong Ping raised his eyebrows. He saw the existence of the phantom. Was Celestial Emperor roping in North King or forcing him to hand over the fruit to protect himself? What should I do? Old Zhang was a little hesitant. There were outsiders here. Once someone or Celestial Emperor really came, not only would they not be able to kill North King, but it would also be easy to cause trouble. Fong Ping's eyes flickered, and soon his heart moved slightly. The next moment, a phantom appeared in front of him. A pure power projection. Fong Ping's projection moved with the wind and quickly disappeared in front of him. On the other side, North King's heart also moved slightly. In the blink of an eye, in the land of darkness, he condensed a mentality projection. At this moment, Fong Ping's projection also appeared. He could not see his appearance, and he could not see his strength. When the two sides met, Fong Ping said coldly, "That's Chiong's people. Don't believe it easily. Chiong wants to destroy your fruit and restrain Celestial Emperor." North King frowned and said coldly, "Are you trying to say that you are Celestial Emperor's envoy?" He laughed and said playfully, "Do you really think I'm stupid? If I can't see Celestial Emperor, how can I easily hand over the fruit?" "Ignorant." Fong Ping shouted coldly, "Chiong is only letting people restrain you, not letting you leave this sky. Ji and the others have already gathered in the 18 levels of heaven, ready to ambush and kill you at any time." Celestial Emperor knew what they were thinking, but now is not the time to fight them. Celestial Emperor also does not need to take your fruit now. Just be careful and don't die here. Celestial Emperor wants you to leave the sky as soon as possible. There will be people coming to kill you soon. As he said that, a golden stone appeared in Fong Ping's hand. He said coldly, "I don't need you to hand over the fruit. Celestial Emperor doesn't need it either. Just hide yourself well. Don't die in the source and have your fruit destroyed." When North King saw the golden stone, his expression changed slightly, and he murmured, "Celestial Stone." Fong Ping's heart moved slightly, but he did not say anything. He said coldly, "Don't believe those people. Leave as soon as possible. The source is in chaos now, and it is no longer safe." North King frowned, looked at the phantom, and fell into deep thought. This was the real Celestial Emperor's envoy. Then, who was the person in front of him? Who are you? I have no comment. Fang Ping laughed coldly. I'm just reminding you not to be restrained by others and die here. As for the rest, don't ask. As long as you don't die and the fruit doesn't appear, Celestial Emperor will not lose anything. He doesn't have to control your fruit. Since you are in the source, you can't run away. Why would Celestial Emperor care about your life? He's just afraid that your fruit will be destroyed and increase the burden of the source. North King's expression changed. That was true. Celestial Emperor did not need him to die, but to not destroy the fruit. As for whether it would return to Celestial Emperor's control, Celestial Emperor might not care, provided that it was not destroyed by others. So, that fellow in front was fake? At this moment, North King was hesitating. Should he leave the 10th heaven or not? The source is only so big. Although there are 36 heavens, other places are also very dangerous. Where do you want me to go? Fang Ping laughed coldly. That's up to you. What we care about is the fruit. If the fruit is not destroyed, even if you hide in the human world, it has nothing to do with Celestial Emperor. Of course, the human world is more dangerous. If you leave the source, your strength will be suppressed, and it will be more dangerous to go to the human world. Finding a space rift to hide yourself is the safest. Fang Ping said indifferently, I'm just reminding you that I should leave now. That fellow in front, whether you believe it or not, don't reveal the fruit easily. Also, it's better to leave as soon as possible. As soon as he finished speaking, the projection quickly flew away. North King's mentality projection also dissipated quickly. Where did your projection go just now? Old Zhang looked at Fang Ping curiously. Did you go to find North King? Didn't you want to kill him? Fang Ping laughed. I'm pretending to be Celestial Emperor's messenger for fun. North King is stronger in the 10th heaven. If I can leave, that will be the best. And if I leave, once we fight in the other chaotic heavens, even if those people want to help, it will not be so fast. There are dozens of heavens between us. If there is a deviation in the arrival and we enter the 10th heaven, that will be the best. Also, I'm worried that there will be people lying in ambush here in advance. Old Zhang looked at him in surprise. They believed that you were pretending to be Celestial Emperor's messenger? Did he really think that North King was a fool? Fang Ping did not care. He did not think that North King was a fool, but he did not ask North King to do anything. He did not ask for the fruit. He did not ask for anything. He only asked him to run away. And this golden stone should not be simple. This was given to Fang Ping by Tianchun so that he could contact Celestial Emperor. Celestial Emperor also hid very well. Obviously, this golden stone was unique to Celestial Emperor. Otherwise, Celestial Emperor would not be worried that someone would find him with a stone and find out where he was hiding. North King shouted, Celestial Stone. Obviously, he recognized this item, and it should be something unique to Celestial Emperor. Did the North Emperor trust him more, or did he trust that phantom image more? As for the origin of the phantom, Fang Ping did not want to pursue it, as long as it did not cause trouble. But obviously, this fellow was here to cause trouble, and it seemed like he wanted to take away North King's fruit. What would North King choose? Fang Ping felt that if North King left the 10th heaven now, he would not lose anything. If he stayed, what if the phantom really wanted to kill him in order to stabilize him? Whether this fellow believes it or not, the probability of him leaving now is very high. Also, he will not go down. It will be safer if he goes up. Below, he will not encounter Celestial Emperor first, but the Divine Emperor. Also, as I said, there are people gathering below, ready to kill him. Fang Ping judged. Go back to the 9th heaven. This fellow will most likely leave. What if he leaves from the 3 gates? The target is too big. Does he dare to leave from the 3 gates now? He probably wants to wait until the limelight dies down before leaving the source land. Now, he will find a deserted place to hide. No one knows where he is, so the 9th heaven is very suitable. Then, old Zhang wanted to say more, but Fang Ping said impatiently, whether he goes or not, this place is not safe. Celestial Emperor, and that fellow's real body may come. Why not go to the 9th heaven and gamble? Even if they don't come, it's okay. Isn't there still a beast emperor? Fang Ping still did not choose to make a move on the 10th heaven. North King was stronger here, and Celestial Emperor and the Phantom might come. The chances of killing North King in the 9th heaven were higher. Thinking of this, Fang Ping punched the ground. The ground shook, revealing a small crack. Fang Ping did not waste any time and floated up again. Soon, he tore the dark zone above and quickly entered the 9th heaven. Far away, North King felt the vibration. The person left. As for where he went, he could not tell. At this moment, the phantom in front of him was still talking. North King thought for a while and suddenly said, since Celestial Emperor can't come, Celestial Emperor's token is not considered a rare item. If you take out the Celestial Stone, I will treat you as Celestial Emperor's messenger. The phantom laughed. Brother Xian also knows that the Celestial Stone is a solidified item of Celestial Emperor's spiritual consciousness. Celestial Emperor's hiding in the source land is to prevent Qiong and the others from having ulterior motives. The Celestial Stone is a solidified item of Celestial Emperor's spiritual consciousness. Once it is lost and taken by Qiong and the others, there is a possibility that they can trace Celestial Emperor's location. North King said coldly, the possibility of the Celestial Stone tracking Celestial Emperor is too small. It is not too difficult for Celestial Emperor to discover it in time and cut off contact. Is my Tao fruit not comparable to a Celestial Stone? The phantom sighed. Brother Xian, as I said, as long as you agree, Celestial Emperor's projection will come. At that time, we will naturally be able to distinguish the truth. North King frowned. After a while, he said, then I will go to Qiong and test him. I don't believe that even if he really wants to kill me, will he attack me now? As he spoke, he was about to break through the 10th heaven and leave. Seeing this, the phantom had to remind him, Brother Xian, it is more dangerous to leave this place now. Here, you can still use your full strength. North King looked at him deeply. Not letting me leave, holding me back. Someone is lying in ambush at the 18th heaven, ready to charge into the 10th heaven at any time. North King thought for a while and suddenly said, where is your true body now? North King said coldly, if Fang Ping and the others come, how long will it take for you to arrive? I at least want to know how Celestial Emperor will protect me. Celestial Emperor can't come, but you should be able to. The phantom pondered for a while and said slowly, Brother Xian will come to help after holding on for half a cup of tea's time. Half a cup of tea's time, about 5 minutes. 5 minutes crossing the heavens could almost reach here from the 18th heaven. Of course, a difference of 1 or 2 heavens was about the same. North King's heart stirred slightly. Someone was lying in ambush at the 18th heaven. The phantom's true body was probably over there. With this confirmation, the guy with the celestial stone might not have lied to him. These people wanted to kill him, and this phantom was only holding him back so that he would let his guard down. He wanted to leave, but this person kept stopping him. North King originally didn't want to believe any of them, but now he couldn't help but suspect if the phantom was already preparing to sneak in and ambush him. You said that Fang Ping and the others sneaked in to kill the beasts, but why hasn't there been any movement until now? Maybe they're watching. North King looked at him coldly. Watching? Did Fong Ping. And the others have that much patience? It was probably to prevent him from escaping to the beasts. In at most half a cup of tea's time, these people would arrive. He had to leave this place quickly and find a deserted place to hide. North King no longer cared about the phantom at this moment. His strength exploded, and with a bang, the phantom was shattered. Looking at the 10th heaven, North King snorted lightly and left this place. Otherwise, he would be in great danger. With a bang, North King broke through the heaven and earth and quickly entered the 9th heaven. He would hide here first and then find a chance to leave the source land. He couldn't care less that his strength would be suppressed if he left the source land. It was better than waiting for death here. They really came. Old Zhang was really a little surprised. Fong Ping just casually bluffed, and North King believed him? Wasn't he too stupid? Unbeknownst to him, North King also felt that he was in trouble. At this moment, he could only take a risk. Otherwise, if he was trapped in the 10th heaven, he would not even have a chance to fight. Kill. Fong Ping's mentality fluctuated, waking old Zhang up. Who cared if North King was stupid or not? Since he was here, it was easier to kill him while his strength was not at its peak. What nonsense! Great Tao Book, open. Old Zhang did not waste any time. With a low shout, a book floated out, covering heaven and earth. The Great Tao Book appeared. In the past, relying on this Great Tao Book, he alone covered many catacombs' true kings, and no one could break it. With a book and a pointer, when a martial king entered the catacombs, it also shook the catacombs. At this moment, the Great Tao Book appeared again. Not only that, in the next moment, a seal fell from the sky. Human ruler seal, lock heaven and earth. With a low shout, the human ruler seal fell. With a bang, the surrounding void instantly became much more viscous. Everyone, lend me your strength. Old Zhang shouted again. Suddenly, in the source universe, countless stars suddenly dimmed, their power drawn by the human emperor Tao. Old Zhang held the pointer in his hand. At this moment, like a god of war, he instantly attacked the ugly North King. North King had fallen into the trap. Chapter 1460. Zhang Tao Fong Ping. The North Emperor grunted coldly, and he didn't delay any longer. He shouted explosively, and an image appeared in the heavens and the earth. Beast, come and help. This place wasn't too far away from the 6th layer of heaven. Beast Emperor would arrive very soon. But just as he shouted, in the next moment, another phantom appeared between heaven and earth. It was a giant dragon. Xian, gather up. The Beast Emperor let out a furious roar, his soul almost leaving his body. At this moment, many experts had entered the 6th heaven. Heavenly King, Subduing King, Book Fragrance, God Creation Envoy, Heavenly Dog. These people wanted to kill him. He might not even be a match for a single Heavenly King subduing Heavenly King, let alone so many experts. Even if they broke into the 6th heaven and were not as strong as they were at their peak, the 4 of them together were enough to kill him. The North King was stronger than him. At this moment, it seemed like only Fong Ping and the Martial King were attacking the North King. He felt that the North King would be able to break through and join them. The North Emperor thought so as well. The North Emperor's saber appeared and slashed at the Great Tao Book. A loud sound rang out. At this moment, the North Emperor's expression changed drastically. Martial King? The only person he was wary of was Fong Ping, not King Wu, even if King Wu had broken through 9 ranks. But what was the situation now? His blade actually failed to shatter the book of the Great Tao. At the critical moment of life and death, he had given it his all, but he was actually unable to shatter the book of the Great Tao. The North Emperor's expression changed drastically. Fang Ping alone might not be able to do anything to him, but with the addition of a powerful martial king, it was a matter of life and death. Huh! Vitality erupted from the North Emperor's body, and his jade-like body flickered. His projection had taught Fang Ping the golden body technique in the mystic realm. He had always walked the path of the physique, and right now his physique was incomparably strong. Vaguely, he was even slightly stronger than Fang Ping. Break. The North Emperor directly gave up on the North Emperor blade. With a roar, he grabbed the great Tao book and wanted to tear it apart. At the same time, imperial auras erupted everywhere. The battle between the sixth and ninth heavens had broken out. The other sovereigns also quickly sensed it. Regardless of what they were thinking, at this moment, there were people constantly shouting, "Hold on, we'll be there soon." No matter what, even if he couldn't wait for the two of them to die, he still had to maintain his dignity. These experts all rushed over to this side. However, the North Emperor's heart was greatly shaken. In less than 5 minutes, it was even longer than the time it took to rescue Emperor Nan. Could he wait that long? Previously, he had been confident, but now it was all gone. A martial king had actually suppressed him. Impossible. He really didn't dare to believe it. Even if a martial king had broken through to the 9th level, how could he be so strong without proving his Tao? Origin power. He looked at the martial king with disbelief. How could this be? How could he gather origin power? Even the North King was fighting with his blood energy. It wasn't that he couldn't use his origin power, but the difference between his spiritual power and blood energy was too great. If he converted his spiritual power into origin power, he might not necessarily be as powerful as he was now. He looked at Fang Ping, who was silently surrounding and attacking him from behind, and at King Wu in front of him, his face full of anger and unwillingness. Origin power. Both of them were using origin power. This was not normal. It was one thing for Fang Ping to keep using his force, but King Wu's vitality, force, and mentality were obviously quite different from each other. How could he still use force outburst? The North Emperor roared furiously. His arms were like Vajra, and with a rumble, he tore the great Tao book apart. Old Zhang was not flustered. He smiled faintly and said, "There are thousands of great Taoists, and I walk on all of them." There was a loud boom. The book of the great Tao opened, and the previous page shattered. "There are thousands of great Taoists, and you've only torn off one page." Old Zhang had already rushed over with a pointer in his hand. He whipped out his bamboo whip. The North Emperor swung his fist and attacked. His physique was extremely strong. Behind him, Fang Ping said faintly, "Don't treat me as if I don't exist. King Wu is not the main character." Boom! Fang Ping's saber cleaved the heavens and the earth. An outburst of 90 million calories. However, he alone surpassed the North Emperor. The North Emperor roared furiously. When he entered the 9th heaven, he was already slightly weakened. However, at this moment, something unexpected happened. The North Emperor roared. The 10th heaven below him suddenly shook. The next moment, a gray object that looked like a stone broke through the air from the 10th heaven and flew into the North Emperor's body. Tao fruit. There was a low growl. The next moment, someone shouted, "Quick, suppress the 10th heaven. Xian, don't act recklessly." Act recklessly? The North Emperor snorted coldly. His vitality surged, and he said coldly, "If you all want to see me die, then don't even think about having an easy time. Fang Ping, kill me, and don't even think about taking the Tao fruit away. Even if I die today, I will self-destruct this Tao fruit so that you all get nothing. I will let all the powerhouses of the origin suffer from the chaos of the origin." The North Emperor was too straightforward. He did not hide the Tao fruit. He did not even consider that after his death, the Tao fruit might not be discovered. It might continue to lie dormant, waiting to be resurrected. He took the Tao fruit directly, ignoring the riots of the 10th heaven. He did not care that after he was killed, the Tao fruit would be discovered. If he was really killed, he would self-destruct this Tao fruit. Fang Ping was also slightly shocked, and then he laughed. Good, straightforward enough. An Emperor realm expert does have some courage. You're really straightforward. I'll kill you, then. The North Emperor snorted coldly. He was gambling on the Celestial Emperor's attack. Otherwise, if he was killed today, the Tao fruit would definitely be destroyed. He was not even a match for a King Wu, let alone Fang Ping. If both sides attacked him, he would be dead for sure. Chaos quelling. Fang Ping did not care about that. If he could not get it, then he could not get it. Kill him first. The glaive of the Changdao erupted, covering the starry sky. The King Wu's bamboo whip fell. The North Emperor shattered the void, disappeared under the bamboo whip, and met Fang Ping's slash with his saber. Boom! The two sabers collided, and the North Emperor's arm exploded with a brilliant light. With his powerful physique, he only suffered some minor injuries, but he still managed to push Fang Ping back. Behind him, Zhang Tao scolded, "Stop him, but not me. Are you looking down on me?" This was the day when he would shine. How dare he not give him face? The North Emperor could not be bothered with him. At this moment, the 10th heaven was shaking violently, but the North Emperor did not seem to see it, letting the 10th heaven be destroyed. If it continued to be destroyed, his Tao would also collapse. But he did not care. He was about to die. Why would he care about this? Let the Celestial Emperor worry. Destroy. Boom. The North Emperor punched the bamboo whip, and heaven and earth collapsed. The book of great Tao broke a few pages instantly. Annihilate. The North Emperor roared again, his vitality burning, and the void was burning. Fang Ping had just rushed over, but his whole body felt like it was on fire. His vitality was ignited, and all his hair was burned in an instant. On the other side, the gray cat who was watching the battle from afar ran away with its tail between its legs. The North Emperor was stronger than it, and its cat fur was almost burned. The three of them were instantly engaged in a battle. The 6th heaven, the Beast Emperor roared. At this moment, it did not care anymore, and it followed suit. In the 6th heaven, a piece of black soil entered its body with a rumble. Boom! The Beast Emperor's vitality was also flourishing. Crack! The 6th heaven began to shatter, and a large number of cracks began to spread, as if it was going to break the world. The Beast Emperor turned into a giant dragon, roaring, "You want to sit back and watch us die? Dream on." All the demons in the world, bless me, boom. There was an explosion, and at this moment, the power of countless monsters began to flow between heaven and earth. The Beast Emperor was getting stronger and stronger. "Staff, come." There was a roar on the Catacombs continent. The Monster Emperor's face was pale, looking at the sky with a cold expression, but it could not stop the power from flowing. As for the gray cat, the fishing rod began to shake, wanting to return to the Beast Emperor. The gray cat held the Beast Emperor's staff tightly, cursing angrily, "It's mine. I picked it up, so it's mine. It's not yours. Don't you dare snatch it." The Beast Emperor was also furious, but there was nothing he could do. At this moment, the Heavenly King Garrison had already charged over. He did not make a sound, slashing wildly with his saber. The Heavenly King was stronger than him. As for the others, the fragrance of books was not weak either. Originally, he did not place the two of them in his eyes. But very quickly, The Beast Emperor knew that he was wrong. At this moment, the God Creation Envoy was all smiles and did not participate in the battle. He said with a smile, "It wasn't easy for me to study the Tao fruit, and I've finally gained something. Beast Emperor, I'll use you as an experiment. Thank you for providing me with the opportunity to experiment." Before the Beast Emperor could understand, he saw that the God Creation Envoy did not care about him. Instead, he walked up to the cracks and carefully avoided them. He muttered, "This is the crack of the great Tao. After absorbing energy, it will produce a crack of the origin." This was the crack that was created after the power was absorbed. The God Creation Envoy smiled and said, "Our powers all originate from this side, the power of the origin. I wonder if fellow Beast Emperor has heard of the siphon principle. 2 water bottles, different amounts of water. Make a pipe, insert the high end into the bottle with less water. Remember, don't make the horizontal plane the same height. Insert the other side of the pipe into the one with more water. You will discover it's really interesting. The bottle with more water will actually automatically flow to the side with less water." The God Creation Envoy sighed with emotion. "The junior high school physics knowledge of the human world is too interesting. I have always been thinking that if we absorb the power of the source, does that mean that the cracks in the source are too lacking in power and were sucked away by you? Why don't you suck it? The Tao fruit is actually a plug that blocks the pipe that connects you, so you can barely prevent your power from being sucked away. If you pull out this plug, then you can suck it out. You actually pulled it out yourself." Oh, the Beast Emperor was stunned when he heard this, but he had a bad premonition. In the next moment, the God Crafting Envoy threw out a huge pipe. One end of it was suddenly stuffed into a huge crack, while the other end was thrown towards Sky King Suppressing Dragon. Laughing, "Old man, work, suck him for me. If it's useful, then I'll be rich. I'll bring this pipe to the sky, where I'm at, and see if I can absorb any energy. It doesn't matter if there's no Tao fruit. As long as I return the energy, I'll be leaving first." King Suppressing Heaven was also speechless, but he took the huge pipe and suddenly covered the Beast Emperor. The Beast Emperor had actually already felt an incomparably huge threat. Although he didn't understand, it didn't mean that he couldn't tell what these people were trying to do. He immediately roared and retreated crazily. However, his body was too big, and King Suppressing Heaven still casually threw the pipe onto his body. This pipe, like a living creature, suddenly sucked on his body. Boom! The Beast Emperor's power began to go out of control, and a large amount of blood energy was absorbed. Through the pipe, it instantly flowed into the crack, and the crack that was previously growing suddenly became much smaller. The God Creation Envoy's face turned red with excitement. It really worked. Sure enough, the source needed them to return their power. Unfortunately, the suction force wasn't strong enough, and with the Tao fruit as a stopper, it blocked the hole, preventing the Emperor's power from flowing out. But now, the Beast Emperor had taken away the Tao fruit, and the stopper had been opened by him. The God Creation Envoy was about to go crazy with excitement. This was the Beast Emperor's, and the North Emperor was the same. He had taken away the stopper, and now that the North Emperor was being beaten up, could he also go and absorb it? The hope of escaping. The God Creation Envoy laughed out loud. This special pipe seemed to be able to increase the horsepower, and in an instant it was at full power, crazily absorbing the Beast Emperor's power to fill in those flaws. And at this time, the goal of King Suppressing Heaven and the Book Fragrance was to fix the Beast Emperor in place, making it impossible for him to escape from this pipe. Let all of his power be absorbed and returned to the source. Of course, suppressing the crack left behind by the Beast Emperor was not their goal. The God Creation Envoy chuckled and directly shattered the void, dragging the pipe back to his own territory. He was going to fill up his own crack. Everyone, don't kill me. Slow down. Wait for me to finish absorbing it. You must be careful. Don't kill me. The God creation envoy cried out. Don't kill him. If you kill him, where can you get such a powerful force to fill up the hole? Under the speechless gazes of the crowd, the God creation envoy quickly arrived at the fourth heaven. This was where he had taken root. The fifth heaven was Li Zhu's territory. In the next moment, in the fourth heaven, the God creation envoy's Tao fruit was taken away by him, revealing a crack. He quickly stuffed the other end of the pipe into the crack. At this moment, the God creation envoy cried out in joy. How satisfying! Using the Beast Emperor's power to repair the hole, the Beast Emperor was much stronger than him. But now, the stronger the better, the easier it was to repair it. On the other side, the Heavenly Hound roared, Blacksmith, leave some for this Emperor. Puffed, your great Tao is being controlled, and you're still the lackey of the Heavenly Emperor. What do you want? Even if you want it, it's useless. Old Ghost Jun, I'll give you some of the rest later. The God creation envoy chuckled. Awesome. Look, what does it mean to sit back and enjoy the benefits of a fisherman? Look, what is wisdom? This is it. Now, it's useless even if your Beast Emperor explodes with his Tao fruit. Your power won't dissipate that quickly, and I can still continue to absorb it. The Heavenly Hound was enraged and suddenly gritted its teeth. You don't want to give it to me, right? Go and snatch it yourself. Woof. A dog's bark resounded through the world. The Heavenly Hound opened its mouth and bit towards the suppressed Beast Emperor. I'll eat you directly. The Beast Emperor roared violently and struggled. He was suppressed by the Heavenly King subduing and the book fragrance, but that was not the key. If he was suppressed, he could retaliate, but that pipe seemed to have taken root in his body and was continuously absorbing his energy. That was the absorption power of the source, coupled with the special nature of the pipe, causing his energy to rapidly dissipate. Not only that side, but the crack in the sixth heaven, where he was also absorbing his energy. Double absorption. This was equivalent to him suppressing 2 heavens by himself and being surrounded and killed by a few emperors. Even if it was an emperor with a cultivation base of over 100 million, he would not be able to handle such a thing. 36 levels of heaven. The divine emperor could not help but exclaim, "Genius! A true genius!" He had almost forgotten about it, forgotten about the number 1 blacksmith in the 3 realms. But today, he had let everyone know what a genius was. He used a pipe to completely suppress the Beast Emperor, causing the Beast Emperor to become weaker and weaker. 1 person was equivalent to suppressing 2 heavens. If the pipe had a fork, could it allow the Beast Emperor to fight against 3 heavens? 4 heavens? Definitely. The premise was that the cracks in those places were transmitting a suction force, and someone had taken away the Tao fruit. The powerful Beast Emperor had become a sheep waiting to be slaughtered. The more he fought, the weaker he became. Heaven's subduing king and book fragrance were not weak. They had completely suppressed him. The Heavenly Hound was like a mad dog devouring his body. At this rate, the Beast Emperor would be eaten until not even his skin was left. He is a genius. Do ye nodded? If he was not a genius, he could not create a source of immortality. 80% of the relic artifacts in the 3 realms were made by this man. If he was not a genius, then who was? He wants to get out, the Heaven Reverse Emperor murmured. The Divine Emperor shook his head and sighed. There are many geniuses in the 3 realms, and he is one of the best. It is a pity he cannot leave, and he cannot leave. A genius invention. It is a pity that the fruit of Tao has appeared. Yes, the fruit of Tao had appeared. The God creation messenger had taken away the fruit of Tao, which was why the crack had appeared, and the crack had the suction force. He had exposed the fruit of Tao. As for the Beast Emperor, he was doomed. Facing so many powerful warriors, he was still weakening his strength and suppressing two heavens. If he did not die, then these people would be too useless. Sure enough, as the divine emperor finished his words, at the sixth heaven, the Beast Emperor revealed a deep sorrow. He was doomed. His strength had been weakened too much, and he had to face two powerful warriors who were not weaker than him. Zhen was even more powerful than him. Could he still survive? No. Ha, ha, ha. Tens of thousands of years of planning, all for nothing. Monsters. The monsters will be monsters forever. Slaves? Heaven Emperor. At this moment, the Beast Emperor's body was enormous. The body of a dragon reflected the three realms. Heaven Emperor. The Beast Emperor roared again. You promise me that as long as I can walk out of the path of the Monster King, you will protect the monsters from extinction, protect the monsters from becoming slaves. In the void, a vast spiritual energy was transmitted. The Heaven Emperor sighed. I do not want you to die. It was hard to tell the truth, but he did not want the Beast Emperor's fruit of Tao to collapse. But now, the situation was deteriorating rapidly. The Beast Emperor was almost sucked dry by the thing made by the God Creation Messenger. At this rate, the fruit of Tao would collapse. The Beast Emperor was not so excited at this moment. He sneered and did not care if it was real or fake. He shouted coldly, "This emperor has lived for so many years and does not care about life and death. At this point, I will definitely die. This emperor only wants to know, is it you or Qiong who wants me to die? Who would be the next Beast King? Kun Peng, that cowardly fellow. Can he replace this emperor to become an emperor? Being schemed against by others without knowing it, what qualifications does he have to replace this emperor?" The heavenly emperor sighed again. The Beast Emperor seemed to understand and sneered. At this moment, although his power had been absorbed, heavenly King Zhen and Xu Xiang did not seem to have exerted much strength. They were really afraid that if they killed him, too much of his power would leak out. The Beast Emperor was also happy to relax. He roughly knew what everyone was planning. You want Tianmu and Kun Peng to become emperors at the same time, fuse the two Daos into one, and condense a Dao fruit in the first heaven? The Beast Emperor sneered. These two fellows could represent the demon race. The heavenly would represented the demon plant, but what qualifications did the Kun Peng have to represent the demon beast race? Ever since he descended to the three realms, the demon race had declined to the point where the human race of the three realms dared to hunt the demon race to forge divine weapons. How could the demon race have fallen to such a state before he was trapped? The Beast Emperor glanced at heavenly King Zhen and Xu Xiang and suddenly laughed. Leave some power for me, just a little. I want to leave some for my descendant so that he can prove his Tao and become an emperor. Heavenly King Zhen trembled slightly. They want to kill me so that the two new emperors can prove their Tao and perfect the Tao of the demon race. Wishful thinking. If I am having a hard time, how can I let them have it easy? Ha ha ha. The Beast Emperor laughed loudly. At this moment, he suddenly spat out a huge pearl. He can also be considered a powerhouse of your human race. Him becoming an emperor will only bring benefits and no harm. Although I am dead, the dragon race will still be the emperor of the demon race. My death is not because of you. I can only blame myself for being too ambitious and lacking in strength. I wanted to fish in troubled waters and turn the three realms into the demon realm. Ridiculous, foolish. Today, I understand that everything depends on myself. As soon as he finished speaking, the huge pearl suddenly broke through the sky. With a rumble, it shattered the void. In the next moment, the pearl descended, and an afterimage of the Beast Emperor appeared above it. He looked at the Spirit Emperor and smiled. Spirit, we've known each other for 33,000 years. Today I must die. Give me some face and sever my son's Tao. Emperor Ling looked at him and frowned slightly. Spirit, 30,000 years ago, your tribe prayed for rain, and your father knelt to the heavens and earth. There was no rain, but I passed by and swept up the water of the celestial lake, causing it to rain for 3 days. Do you still remember this kindness? As soon as these words came out, Ling Huang's expression changed slightly. At this moment, a sigh sounded out once more. The Kuan Peng and the Heavenly Wood became emperors, condensing the Tao fruit of the monster race. The Spirit Emperor frowned. After a while, he said in a low voice, Dragon transformation. Heavenly Wood can also become a sovereign, condensing the demon race's Tao fruit. The sigh disappeared. In the next moment, Ling Huang struck out with his palm, shattering a blood vessel. He did not sever his Tao, but rather he severed his control over his immortal source. Thank you. Loud laughter rang out. In the next moment, the huge pearl flew towards the human realm, towards Dragon Changing Sky. At this moment, Dragon Transformation was hovering in the air with a complicated look on his face. In the distance, a huge pearl flew over. On the pearl, the phantom of the Beast Emperor appeared and said with a smile, You are only a descendant of my blood essence, not a direct descendant. There is no need to remember my favor, no need to struggle to avenge me. I am just unwilling to hand the monster race over to the Kuan Peng. You are friends with the human race. The human race has martial kings, human kings, and suppression. You are more suitable to become the demon emperor than the Kuan Peng. The Kuan Peng is a coward. He established the demon court, but he is greedy for life and afraid of death. Even if the monster race is destroyed, he does not dare to make a sound. He has offended human kings and martial kings. The monster race will be destroyed in his hands sooner or later. Dragon transformation and becoming an emperor are responsibilities and shackles. Are you willing to put on the shackles of the monster race and the shackles of an emperor? Dragon transformation's expression became even more complicated. In the next moment, the dragon appeared and said in a low voice, I am willing to become an emperor. Ha ha ha. The Beast Emperor laughed. In the next moment, the pearl entered Dragon Transformation's body. There was a loud boom. Dragon Transformation, which had broken 7 times, broke 3 times in succession. The first gate broke, the second gate broke, and the third gate broke. The huge pearl disappeared in an instant, completely losing its strength. On the 6th level, the Beast Emperor could no longer maintain his huge dragon body and shrunk a lot. However, he laughed and shouted, Everyone, can I help him again? Heavenly King Suppression frowned. Heavenly Hound was a little unwilling. However, Heavenly King Suppression said in a low voice, All right. Ha ha ha. The Beast Emperor laughed again and suddenly flew out of their control. He did not escape, but quickly flew towards the 3 gates. With a boom, he broke through one of the gates in the blink of an eye. Dragon transformation. Become an emperor today. You will be the Dragon Emperor, not the Beast Emperor. I will guide you. With a loud roar, a huge dragon body suddenly extended from outside the door towards the dragon transformation outside the severed path. Rumble! The dragon body began to explode. A few starstones fell into Dragon Transformation's body. The Beast Emperor's huge head extended all the way forward. In the blink of an eye, it appeared under Dragon Transformation's feet, drenched in blood. Step on this path and break through the 3 gates. The monster race shall not be destroyed. The dragon race shall be the emperor. Dragon transformation turned into a dragon body. At this moment, on the huge dragon head, Two huge eyes revealed an incomparably complicated expression. Stepping on the Beast Emperor's body, he would become an emperor. Roar. With a dragon roar, dragon transformation no longer hesitated. Dragon claws grabbed the huge dragon body, covered in blood, and quickly passed through the broken path. After a while, the Beast Emperor's body behind him exploded. When he reached the end of the broken path, with a loud boom, the Beast Emperor exploded. Father, a barely audible murmur sounded. Dragon Transformation's expression was extremely complicated. Ha ha, Kuan Peng, you want to become an emperor? In your next life. The Beast Emperor's laughter spread throughout the three realms. A loser like you is not fit to become a demon emperor. Dream on. Even if I die, I will not let you achieve the Tao. Ha ha ha. Boom. With a loud explosion, at this moment, a Tao fruit in the 6th level exploded. The sky changed color, and mournful music sounded. The Beast Emperor is dead. The three realms were pitch black. Countless monsters prostrated on the ground, crying out loud. The Beast Emperor was dead. Send the Beast Emperor off. Kuan Peng suddenly roared and sent the Beast Emperor on his way. Am I a coward? Perhaps. But the billions of lives in the monster race had lost their greatest protection today. You're tuning in to the Mystic Fist YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.